Money upon your upper down. Rise and face the east. Calling of the 12 tribes. Yo, what's up?
Yo, what's up?
Bun Yum.
Dan.
Shema.
Yasharala.
Yahweh. Song, pray. Tribes to the south. Samaiwa. Yashakar. Zabalawa. Shema. Yasharala. Yahweh. Song, turn. Tribes to the west. Gad. Ashar. Naphtali. Shema. Yasharala. Yahweh. Song, turn. Tribes to the north. Robo. Yahweh. Loya. Shema. Yasharala. Yahweh. Song, turn. Sabbath day blessings. Blessed be Yahweh in the name of the anointed Yahweh Shah that gives us the Sabbath in peace. Barak Yahweh. Bahashem. Hamashiach. Yahushua. Haba'ah. Hashabah. Shalom. Blessed be Yahweh in the name of the anointed Yahweh Shah that gives us the law. Barak Yahweh. Bahashem. Hamashiach. Yahushua. Haba'ah. Blessed be Yahweh in the name of the anointed Yahweh Shah that gives us the light to see. Barak Yahweh. Bahashem. Hamashiach. Yahushua. Haba'ah. Blessed be Yahweh in the name of the anointed Yahweh Shah that gives us the ram horn to call the people. Barak Yahweh. Bahashem. Hamashiach. Yahushua. Blessed be Yahweh in the name of the anointed Yahweh Shah that gives us the olive oil to anoint Israel. Barak Yahweh. Bahashem. Hamashiach. Yahushua. Psalm 92.
The book of Psalms, chapter 92. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Most High, and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High. To shoot forth thy loving kindness in the morning, and thy faithfulness every night. Upon an instrument of 10 strings, and upon the psaltery, upon the harp with a solemn sound. For thou, Yahweh, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. O Most High, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doeth the fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Most High, art most high forevermore. For lo, thy enemies, O Yahweh, for lo, thy enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shall thou exalt like the horn of the unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eye also shall see my desire on my enemies, and my ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Most High shall flourish in the courts of our power. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing, to shew that the Most High is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. By Hashem, Hamashiach Yahushai, the one of them Yad, Amen.
Amen. All right, 10 Commandments and the last one for Dutch. La'ah, Yahaya, Lakah, Alahaya, Akari, Al-Banyat, La'ah, Ta'isha, Lakah, Kasa, Wala'ah, Ta'ibadam, La'ah, Talakwaka, Sham, Yahawah, Bashawah, Zakah, Ayawam, Shabbat, Lakwadashwa, Kabad, Abaka, Wa'amaka, La'ah, Ratazak, La'ah, Dananah, La'ah, Daganab, La'ah, Dainah, Shakur, La'ah, Lakamad, Kal, Ashrah, Lara'aika, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai, the water, Yad, Aman.
Book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. By Hashem, Hamashiach Yahushai, the one of them Yad, Amen.
Amen. Psalm 21, blessed for Dutch. Anashah, Ayenya, Aharia, Mahayan, Yahuah, Isaiah, Yahuah, Mayahu, Shaisha, Shemaiah, Raharatazah, La'ah, Yanathan, Namawat, Regalia, La'ah, Nawam, Shashamaria, Hana, Yala'ah, Nawam, Wala'ah, Yasham, Shashamaria, Yasharella, Yahweh, Shamaria, Yahweh, Zazalia, Ayah, Yad, Hashamash, Yala'ah, Akayah, Wayawam, Wala'ah, Havanah, Bat Layah, Yahweh, Yashamar, Makal, Rai, Yashamar, Napasia, Yahweh, Shamaria, Avalakia, Wabahaya, Ma'itad, Wa'ai, Wa'aibalam, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai, the water, the Yad, Amen.
The book of Psalms, chapter 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Most High, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Most High is thy keeper, and the Most High is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Most High shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Most High shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, and even forevermore. Bahashem Hamashiach Yahushai, the word of Yad.
Lord's Prayer and Lord's Conduct. Abanau. Shabbat Shabbat. Kadash. Ayah. Shomka. Yahweh. Malachaka. Taba'ah. Ratazak. Ayah. Aisha. Baharataza. Hawa. Ayah. Ashemaya. Watananau. Lacham. Kayawam. Wasalakna. Kabawafina. Kasalakna. Kabawafina. Wala'a. Tabanainau. Banasayawan. Abo. Awashaina. Mayan. Rad. Kaya. Laka. Malakwa. Waha'ala. Watai Paraf. Lai Walami. Bahashem. Mashiach. Yahushai. The water. Yad.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. If you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. If you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Hashem Mashiach Yahushai, the word of Yad.
Psalms 133, Elohim Kodah. Sheyar, Amalarwa, Ladawa, Ana, Ba, Sawa, Wama, Ayam, Shabbat, Akim, Gam, Yakad, Kasaman, Atawab, Ayam, Arash, Yerad, Ayam, Azakwan, Zakwan, Aharon, Shayarad, Ayam, Toyah, Marawafirwa, Kato, Kamramwan, Shayarad, Ayam, Ariyah, Tazawan, Kaya, Sham, Tazawah, Yahweh, Abraka, Kayayam, I belong, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai, the water, Yad,
The book of Psalms, chapter 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head, that went down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments. And as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Most High commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. By Hashem Hamashiach Yahushai, the word of Yad.
Psalms 150.
Psalms 150. Praise ye the Most High.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh in the sanctuary.
Hallelujah.
Praise him in the firmament of his power.
Hallelujah.
Praise him for his mighty acts.
Hallelujah.
Praise him according to his excellent greatness.
Hallelujah.
Praise him with the sound of the trumpet.
Hallelujah.
Praise him with the psaltery and harp.
Hallelujah.
Praise him with the timbrel and dance.
Hallelujah.
Praise him with the string instruments and organs.
Hallelujah.
Praise him upon the loud cymbals.
Hallelujah.
Praise him upon the high sounding cymbals.
Hallelujah.
Let everything that hath breath praise Yahweh.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh by Hashem Hamashiach Yahushai, the word of Yad.
All praise be to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for mercy forever. To all Yahweh for the Sabbath service, for the gathering of our people on this very day that you have sanctified the children of Israel to come together to worship you on the seventh day, O Yahweh. Continue to bless us, continue to watch over us throughout the days, the weeks, the months, the years, throughout our lives, and we continue to edify our people as we go out to the highways and byways, compel our people to keep the law, statutes, commandments, and that we should come back as a nation of people and not follow the ways of this world. By Hashem Mashiach Yahushua, the water of Yad, Shabbat, may you see. All praise be to the power of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, to all the true Hebrews scattered around the four corners of the earth on this Shabbat day. Thank the Most High for giving us opportunity to teach His word, to wake up our people throughout the four corners of the earth, to edify the people that's online, that's watching. Right? So we're going to have a pre-Shabbat class, and the title of this class is What Freedom is Really Like. Okay, because I know a lot of our people here in America and overseas thinking that they're free as a nation of people, but we're still under the oppression. All right. Some people have this idea of freedom, going to the mall, going shopping, eating at your favorite restaurant, you know what I'm saying, going to sporting events, but they're not really. That's just okay. But we're not free as a nation of people as of yet. All right. So we're going to open up with Colossians 3 and verse 17.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Adon One Yahweh Shai, giving thanks to the Most High and the Abba by Him.
So everything we do in word or deed, the actions, but we live our with Deuteronomy 28, verses 1 all the way to verse 14.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe and to do all His commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Most High thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
And if we were to hearken or listen unto the Most High thy power, okay, we'd be above all these nations, man. Okay, the roles would be reversed. Okay, they would be coming for us for the want of all things. But as you can see in this society, it's not like that, man. Okay, we have to go to our enemies for the want of everything that we need, man. Okay, whether it's food, clothing, shelter. All right. Okay, we don't run this world the way we want it to. Okay, because the Most High gave this world in the hand of the wicked. All right, read on.
And all these blessings.
And all these who?
And all these blessings.
It says all these blessings, read.
Shall come on thee. And overtake thee.
And we'll be blessed as a nation, man. Okay? We'll be running our own banks, running this society according to the scriptures, according to the commandments. Okay? We once had an opportunity in Black Wall Street, but were those people back then going by the laws of Yahweh or the commandments? All right? And that's the reason why the Most High sent the white man to come bomb that place, man. All right? Sure, they had good intentions. You know what I'm saying? They try to separate from other nations and try to keep it amongst themselves in Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma, but the Most High had to get rid of that thing. Because that just lets you know that we're not here just to be comfortable. This is not our homeland, okay? We can build and develop as a nation, while our real homeland is overseas in Jerusalem, man. All right, read on.
If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power, blessed shall thou be in the city.
And we be blessed in the city. All right. We won't have no issues with crime. Okay. We will police ourselves as a nation of people if we were blessed. Okay. There will be no abortion clinics. Okay. There will be our people hanging out in these corner stores, selling drugs amongst each other, fighting one another. Okay. We be blessed in the city, man. We will own all the banks, all the financial institutions, and we will come to our own people for the want of things. But it's not like that. So we're not really blessed in the city as a nation of people because of our forefathers, and they trickle down onto us. All right, read on.
And blessed shall thou be in the field.
And we'll be blessed in the field. Okay, instead of the slave owners running us, picking cotton, we'll be the other way around. All right, we will be in control of that plantation. All right, and giving them direction. All right, but it didn't happen that way. Read on.
Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body.
It said, blessed be the fruit of thy body, your children. All right. We be blessed generation to generation, because this law, statute, commandment will be passed on to the next generation, to your kids' kids, man. All right. Read on.
and the fruit of thy ground,
Uh-huh.
and the fruit of thy cattle,
Right.
the increase of thy kind,
The increase of thy kind, read.
and the flocks of thy sheep.
Uh-huh.
Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store.
He said, blessed be that basket, thy store, and our businesses, read.
Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in,
Uh-huh.
and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
He said, no matter what we do as nation of people, we'll be blessed, man. No matter we put our hands to it, we'll be blessed as a nation of people, man. Okay? And that should be our freedom. That's what we'll be looking for as a nation. All right, read on.
The Most High shall cause thine enemies,
Who?
thine enemies
Thy enemies, read.
that rise up against thee,
Uh-huh.
to be smitten before thy face.
To be smitten before our faces, man. All right? We will be in control of the situation. We will have these heathens running. All right? Because the Most High bless us as a nation. Read on.
They shall come out against thee one way,
Uh-huh.
and flee before thee 7 ways.
And we will make these enemies flee, man. All right? Instead of the police chasing them, we be chasing them. What is the other way around? You know, Jake, man. When you know you're up to no good, boy, the police show everybody's scattered, boy. I tell you, it's a trip. We see it in the movie. We see it in real life. All right? They making us scatter now instead of the other way around. Read on.
The Most High shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses,
Uh-huh, in our storehouses. Okay.
and in all that thou settest thine hand unto.
And everything that we put our hands to, we be blessed as a nation. Uh-huh.
And he shall bless thee in the land which the Most High thy power giveth thee.
And we will be blessed as a nation. No matter where we are, we'll be in rulership, man. Okay, we will run these nations wherever we go, wherever we're scattered to, okay, according to the laws of God, man. And we put this place in its rightful, righteous state. Okay, that's what this place needs, man. Okay. The scripture said that the earth is given in the hand of the wicked. We're not ruling nothing. Okay. Read on.
The Most High shall establish thee in an holy people unto himself.
He said he will establish us as a holy people, separate from everybody else, man. All right. There's a division. The Most High is about division. All right. Because he wanted to keep us holy from other nations, man. But we got mingled among the nations. Now we're starting to learn their customs, worship their deities, their gods. Okay? And that's what's led us astray. That's that separation between us and the Most High. Read on.
As he has sworn unto thee,
if
thou shalt keep the commandments of the Most High thy power,
right,
and walk in his ways.
And we should have walked in his ways from the beginning, man. All right? Because we made an agreement, we made a contract, man. We said we will do. But what happened? Look at the result of it, man. It trickled down to generation. You know what I mean? So now we failed as a nation of people, but we had to come back to that rulership that we once had. Okay? Read on.
And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Most High.
And all these nations will look at us like, man, those are the people of the Most High. But they don't look at us that way now. Okay? We're called bywords now. African American. Okay, we're Puerto Rican, we're Haitian, we're all these names, but we're still the nation of Yasharella at the end of the day. You understand? Read on.
And they shall be afraid of thee.
And these nations gonna be afraid of us, man. Because we're known throughout the scriptures that we destroy kingdoms, man. Okay, they could put us in captivity, but at the end of the day, we're gonna be let out. And those captivities that we've been through, they're not flourishing right now. The only thing that's left is America, man. The last captivity that we're in right now, which is the 7th one. All right? Read on.
And the Most High shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body,
right,
and in the fruit of thy cattle.
And the fruit of thy cattle, even your livestock, man. You flourish, man. All right? Read on.
And in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which the Most High swore unto thy fathers to give thee.
Right. Because he can't break the oath. He made a promise. Okay? Under the 3 patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Man, he can't break that promise. Because how would that look in front of these nations, man? You understand? Right? Read on.
The Most High shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven to give the rain unto thy land in his season,
right,
and to bless all the work of thy hand, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow.
Right, we'll be lending to these nations, man. They'll be coming to us, for loans. Okay? We don't have to go to them. But it's the other way around. Read on.
And the Most High shall make thee the head, and not the tail.
And we will be the head and not the tail. We will be on top. All right, not on the bottom as a nation. All right, read on.
And thou shalt be above only.
And we be above only, man. That's definite. Read.
And thou shalt not be beneath.
And we're not gonna be beneath. Read on.
If that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Most High thy power, which I command thee this day, to observe and to do them.
He said to observe and to do them. If we would have kept the law, statutes, commandments as a nation. All right. But as you can see, it didn't happen that way because we decided to follow our own mind, do our own thing. All right. Read on.
And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day.
And we would not go aside of the word, man. All right. Come on. Let me get Joshua. Come on. All right. One and let's see here. One and 8. All right.
The book of Joshua, chapter 1, and verse 8.
Read.
This book of the law.
This book of the who?
This book of the law.
This book of the law, the Bible, okay? Whether you have a regular KJV, okay, you have the Apocryphal, you have the 1611. This is the book of the law for our people, read.
Shall not depart out of thy mouth.
And it should not depart out of your mouth, man. Okay? This should be taught to your children's children. All right? This is a generational thing. Okay? The laws are not done away with. As long as we're here on this earth, as long as we're breathing. All right, read.
But thou shalt meditate therein day and night.
And we should be meditating these scriptures, man. Learning the law, statutes, commandments. Learning how to deal with your family, your brother, your sisters. Okay? Your family. Read on.
That thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein.
Right.
For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success.
He said, then we should make our way prosperous and have good success as a nation of people. Because a lot of people think, material things is the way of success. Okay, they say the Mercedes-Benz is the ultimate success symbol vehicle. Okay, that's what this world thinks. This is what we go by, what the world sees. All right, the materialistic things. All right, but we should be looking and stacking our treasures up in the heavens, man. All right, that's what we should be looking for as a nation of people, not for material things that's down here on this earth. Okay, all right, that's not going to bring us that much value. All right. We should be learning the law, statutes, commandments as a nation of people. All right? Let me get the flip side of that. Let me get Joshua 1 and 18. All right? Because the Most High is about balance, man. All right? Go ahead, bring it up.
The book of Joshua, chapter 1, and verse 18. Whosoever he be that doeth rebel against thy commandment, and will not hearken unto the words and all that thou commandest him.
And we would not hearken unto the words, read.
He shall be put to death.
No, he should live.
He shall be put to death.
I say he should be put to death, man. All right. The Most High gave us leniency at this millennium, so to speak. All right. But back then it was more serious. All right. To keep the commandments, or you'd be put to death. You'd be made an example. Read on.
Only be strong and of a good courage.
He said, only be strong and of good courage. All right. We got to be strong in this thing, man. We can't waver. Read. Okay. Come on. Let me get Exodus 15 and 1. All right. Like I said, the class is about what freedom is really like for our people. All right. Okay. Bring it out here.
The book of Exodus, chapter 15, and verse 1. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Most High, and spake, saying,
saying what?
I will sing unto the Most High, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea.
Right.
The Most High is my strength and song.
Right.
And he has become my salvation.
Right. Read on.
He is my power.
He is my who?
He is my power.
He said, he is my power. Read.
And I will prepare him in habitation. My father's power.
Right.
And I will exalt him.
And we will exalt him. Okay. We should be giving him the highest praise. Okay. Because he created us. We didn't create him. All right. And we should be giving him the highest praise because he chose us as a nation of people, as a special people, to be his servants, to wake up Jacob in his last days, to bring the 12 tribes back together. Read on.
The Most High is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his hosts hath he cast into the sea.
Right.
His chosen captains also are drowned in the Red Sea. The depths have covered them.
Right.
They sank into the bottom as a stone. Thy right hand, O Yahweh, is become glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Yahweh, have dashed in pieces the enemy.
Right.
And in the greatness of thine excellency, thou hast overthrown them that has rose up against thee.
Right. Read on.
Thou sendest forth thy wrath, which consumed them as stubble. And with the blast of thy nostrils, the waters were gathered together.
Right.
The flood stood upright as an heap, and the depths were congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil.
And that's what they did to us up to this very day. They divided us in nations. Okay? We're in the Caribbean, we're in South America, we're in Europe, we're in Africa, we're in America, Central America, giving us these different bywords and names. They divided us spoil, man. We divided as a nation of people. Now we coming against each other because, oh, he's light skinned, or he's dark skinned. That's foolishness, man. At the end of the day, they're still going to label us as what we are called, African American, okay, Puerto Rican, okay. You fight against your own peoples, all right. That's not division. That's how they spoil us as a nation. Read on.
My lust shall be satisfied upon them. I will draw my sword.
Right.
My hand shall destroy them. Thou didst blow with thy wind, the sea covered them. They sank as lead in the mighty waters. Who is like unto thee, O Yahweh, among the gods?
Right.
Who is like thee, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders?
God, so who is like unto the Most High? You know what I'm saying? Jump to verse 19.
Verse 19. For the horse of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea.
Right, to the Red Sea, read.
And the Most High brought again the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea.
Right.
And Miriam the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand.
She took a timbrel in her hand, a musical instrument, read.
And all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances.
Right.
And Miriam answered them, sing ye to Yahweh, for he hath triumphed gloriously.
Right.
The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea.
And that's what we want. We want our enemies to be subdued by the Most High, and then the hands of us. Okay, this is what we want as a nation of people, man. Because we've been oppressed for so long, we just got comfortable with being in the state, being on the bottom. Okay, we should have that mindset of like being on the top, being as a ruler. All right, but our people are so comfortable here, they don't think like that. All right. All right. Let me get Leviticus chapter 25. All right, and that's what we have to do as a nation of people. We have to have that mindset that we want to rule one day, be on top as a nation, all right? And not be comfortable in the ways of America. We can't just settle for anything, man, for mediocrity. All right? Leviticus 25, verse 44.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 25, and verse 44.
This is what we want. Read on.
Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have,
that we should have, bondman meaning slave man, slave women, read.
Shall be of the heathen.
Should be of the who?
Shall be of the heathen.
Should be of these other nations, man. All right. Now, if you tell people that's not in the truth, hey, you want slaves? They look at you crazy. You know what I'm saying? In their mind, they're probably thinking, well, I want to do the same thing they did to us. Well, the scripture says okay. Thus saith the Most High God. All right. Second Thessalonians 1:6 says it's a righteous thing, man. All right. To recompense tribulation to those that trouble you. So why not? Why not have the chance to get back at these people? What they did to our forefathers and our foremothers, man. Okay, a lot of people like to avoid watching slavery movies and always like, another slavery movie coming out. All right, because our people tend to forget, man. All right, there's nothing wrong with watching a movie about us being on top. There's nothing wrong with that. But you gotta understand, we came from the bottom, so now we gotta get to that point where we can be in rulership. You understand? Come on, is that on that? Read on to 46.
shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids.
Right.
Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy.
He said, of them shall ye buy. Read on.
And of their families that are with you, which they beget in your land.
Right.
And they shall be your possession.
And they should be our possession. All right. When you have something in possession, that means you have control of it. That's ownership. Go on to 46.
And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you.
Right. And they should be passed along, man. All right. Read on.
To inherit them for a possession.
To inherit them for a possession.
They shall be your bondmen forever.
Forever. Thus said the Most High God, man. Let me get Psalms chapter 2. All right. We should have the opportunity to own these people, man, because they owned us at one point. All right. Why not turn the tables around on these heathens, man, and these other nations? All right. Chapter 2 and verse 8 and 9.
The book of Psalms, chapter 2 and verse 8.
Read on.
Ask of me.
He said, ask of the Most High, read.
And I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance.
And we should get these heathens as an inheritance, man. Read.
And the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron.
We should do what?
Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron.
He said we should break them with a rod of iron. Read.
Thou shalt dash them in pieces.
All right, read on.
Like a potter's vessel.
Right. Oh, okay. Is that you already mentioned iron? Oh, okay. And that's what we should be doing to these nations, man. I never heard this verse in church. They never want to bring this out about other nations, but yet they will have other nations mixed within us in the church, man. All right. I never read this scripture, man. Pastor never brought this out to anybody. All right. So let me get that Revelation 2 and verse 25. All right. We got to break these nations, man. They did it to us. Why not, man? It's only right. All right. The Most High is not just one-sided, man. He's about balance. So why not return that tribulation unto these people? Okay, which was done to our forefathers and our foremothers. A lot of people like to ask, well, what they got to do with you? You wasn't there back then. Yeah, but those are your peoples. All right. Why not should it affect you? Go ahead, read it.
The book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 25. But that which ye have already, hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh,
right,
and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
And he will give us power over these nations, man. Okay, we'll be the top shotters, man. We'll be the rulers of this earth, man. We'll put it in his rightful position. Read on.
And he that rule them with a rod of iron.
With a rod of who?
With a rod of iron.
With that rod of iron, read.
As the vessels of a potter, shall they be broken to shivers.
They should be broken to shivers.
Even as I received of my Father.
Even as I received of my Father. Right? Now let me get Jeremiah 30, verse 16. All right. This is what our people should be striving for, okay? Not the next stimulus check and all this foolishness, but you're going to blow that within a week anyway. That's not going to last too long. Unless you have that mindset to create it into a business, you have to work for these nations no more, then that's good, okay? But these things are just temporal, all right? We have to seek for things above and other things on this earth. All right, bring it out, King.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee.
It says all these nations that had us in captivity. All right, the Babylonians, the Assyrians, the Greeks, the Romans, all right, the Egyptians, all these nations, read,
shall be devoured.
They're gonna be devoured too. It's only right. All right, read.
And all thine adversaries.
And all of our adversaries, man. Read.
Every one of them.
No, just some of them.
Every one of them.
It says every single one of them, read.
Shall go into captivity.
And they're going to have to go into captivity too, man. Okay? It's only right. It's only fair according to the laws, statutes, and commandments. According to the Most High. All right? Was that on that? Okay, read on.
And they that spoil thee.
He said, they that spoil thee, read.
Shall be a spoil.
Shall be a spoil.
And all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey.
Thus said the Most High God. All right. Let me go to the popular Revelations 13, verse 9. All right. We need that break as a nation of people, man. We need to be able to have a chance to get back on what these other nations, man. It can't be just we one-sided, you know. Okay, they do all this stuff to us, and we just gonna just be docile and just take it. Okay, you gotta fight back. We have to fight back, man. All right, it's only right. Read on.
The book of Revelations, chapter 13, and verse 9.
Uh-huh.
If any man have an ear,
If any man have an ear,
let him hear.
let him hear. Read.
He that leadeth into captivity
They say, he that leadeth into captivity. All the nations led us into slavery as nation of people. Read on.
shall go into captivity.
It says, shall go into captivity. It's only right. Read on.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
And they must be killed with the sword also, man. Okay? Because we've been going through it all our lives, man. Up to this point, man. You know what I'm saying? With the George Floyds, okay, Tamir Rice, all these people getting shot, getting gunned down. All right? We going through it as a nation of people, man. And it's only right that we flip the table around and give the taste of their own medicine. All right? Thus said the Most High. All right? Now let me get Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 10 through 14. All right? It's only right that we give back to these nations for doing the wrong that's happening to our people up to this point. Okay, even to our forefathers and foremothers, man. All right.
The book of Isaiah
60? Yeah. And verse 10 through 14.
The book of Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 10.
Uh-huh.
And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have But in my favor,
in the Most High's favor, read,
have I had mercy on thee.
And he had mercy on us as a nation of people. Okay? The Most High, anytime he wants to, he can destroy us as a nation of people, start all over again, start from scratch, going back to the drawing board. All right? But he kept us, man. That's why we still here to this day, so-called 2020, 22. All right? Read on.
For the nation, therefore, thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day or night.
All right.
That men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought.
Right.
For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish.
Shall what?
Shall perish.
Shall perish, man. These nations might have to serve us, man. We serve them. All right. Read on.
Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
And those nations will be utterly wasted. So they have no choice but to serve us as the children of Israel. Okay, the Prince of Power. Okay, the apple of thine eye, according to the Most High. All right, because we are his chosen people. All right. Go down to 14. I think you're on 13 next, yeah.
Verse 13. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee. The fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together.
Right.
To beautify the place of my sanctuary.
To beautify the place of my sanctuary.
And I will make the place of my feet glorious.
Right.
The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee.
And they'll be coming bending unto us, man. All right. They're going to be bowing down to our feet. Read.
And all they that have despised thee.
And we've been despised as a nation of people. All right. We've been looked at as what? Thugs. Okay. Niggas, jump offs, thoughts. All right. That's not who we are as a nation of people, man. We should be treated as royalty. But do we treat ourselves as royalty? Do we act as royalty? Do we dress as we're royalty? You know what I'm saying? Like I always say this before, we call ourselves kings and queens and all this foolishness, but we don't act that way. We don't dress that way. And we don't have that mindset as a nation. Not yet, right?
And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet.
And that's what we've been doing, man. All right? They don't call us Boot Kiss County for nothing. All right? So we have these nations bow down to our feet, man. Because they know what time it is, man. All right? Read on.
And they shall call thee the city of Yahweh.
And they should call it the city of the Most High, man. All right? Read on.
The Zion of the Holy One of Israel.
It says Zion, the Holy One of Israel. All right? All praise to the Most High. All right? Let me get Isaiah 49 verse 23. All right? Since we own that right now. All right? I think these nations, they have an idea of what's happening. I think they play it like a front, like they don't know what's going on. All right? They know about the slavery. They know about the children of Israel, what we went through as a nation of people. But they just don't want to like acknowledge that. All right? They're rather us figure it out, but they're not going to tell us. and the school system about slavery and everything. They're not gonna teach you that. Okay, because when I was going to school, they were talking about Roman history. You know what I mean? They're not gonna talk about Hebrews and how we once dominated the earth. Okay, they're not gonna give us that upliftment. Okay, they're trying to uplift their people and their nation, but they're not gonna uplift ours because they don't want us to know who we are. All right, go ahead.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 49, and verse 23.
And
the kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers.
He said these rulers, man. Okay, everybody praying. You know what tripped me out? I'm glad I kind of brought this up because I was thinking about that the situation with I think it was Prince and his wife came down to the Bahamas and everything. And I'm watching the video and I'm looking at all these people got all dressed up like it's a carnival for these two white couples. I'm like, what are y'all doing, man? I'm like, all people are just straight cooning to the highest degree, man. Yeah, all dressed up. They just singing and they dancing. You know what I mean? And the whole talk was about, you know, the oppression that happened to their people and the slavery and everything. Some people wasn't with them coming down there, and some people was all, you know, happy or glad that they came out here. I'm like, why, man? Okay, we're just making ourselves look foolish right now. All right, we can't be cooning for these nations, man. Go ahead, read on.
And their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth.
And those same people that they're praising and dancing for, they're gonna be bowing down to them, man. Okay, we're not gonna be performing those song and dance for these people, bringing out the steel drums. Okay, they probably had them outfits made a day before or a week before, prior to them coming, man. All right, it's like they brought their best. All right, like it's carnival or something, man. It's foolishness, man. Read on.
And lick up the dust of thy feet. And thou shalt know that I am the Most High, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me.
All right, jump out to 26.
Verse 26. And I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh.
And the Most High said he's going to feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh. Read.
And they shall be drunken with their own blood, as with sweet wine.
Right.
And all flesh shall know that I, the Most High, am the Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob.
Right. Okay. We need that redemption as nation people, man. All right. A lot of people, you know, thinking that the Most High's come back for everybody. You know what I'm saying? He said he's the Redeemer of the children of Israel, man. All right. The Jews. Okay. Not everybody's calling themselves Jews. So that lets you know that the Most High God is not coming back for everybody. All right. He's not coming back for the oppressor and the oppressed. Okay. It's got to be a division. There's got to be a separation there. All right. And let me get let's see here, Tobit. Get Tobit 13. This is another one of my favorites right here. Tobit chapter 13. Tobit 13 and verse 9 through 18.
The book of Tobit, chapter 13, and verse 9. O Jerusalem.
Oh, who?
O Jerusalem.
He said, O Jerusalem, read.
The holy city. He will scourge thee for thy children's work.
Right.
And will have thee for thy, and will have mercy again on the sons of the righteous.
And he will have mercy again on us. All right. Because of his promise, because he couldn't break that oath. Read.
And will have mercy again on the sons of the righteous.
Right.
Give praise to the Most High.
What are we supposed to do?
Give praise to the Most High.
We're supposed to give praise to Yahweh. Read.
For he is good.
For he is what?
For he is good.
For he is good. Read.
And praise the everlasting King. That his tabernacle may be builded in thee again with joy.
Right. That his tabernacle be built once again with joy. All right. We're going to be happy to build the tabernacle, man. To build the temple. All right. So we can go back to our heritage. Read on.
And let him make joyful there in thee those that are captive. And love in thee forever those that are miserable.
Right. Read on.
Many nations shall come from far to the name of the Most High Power with gifts in their hands.
With what in their hands?
With gifts in their hands.
They're going to come to us with gifts in their hands, man. All praise. Read.
Even gifts to the King of heaven.
I say even gifts to the kings of heaven. Read.
All generations shall praise thee with great joy.
He said all generations shall praise the Most High with great joy, man. They ain't got no choice. All right? Or to be destroyed. Read on.
Cursed are all they which hate thee.
He said, curses all day that hate thee. Okay, we've been hated the most as a nation of people, man. All right? All throughout our lives, our forefathers, foremothers, we've been hated, man. All right? Read on.
And blessed shall all be which love thee forever.
Uh-huh.
Rejoice and be glad for the children of the just.
He said, rejoice and be glad for the children of the just. Read.
For they shall be gathered together and shall bless the Most High of the just.
And we're going to be gathered together as a nation of people, man. Okay? There's not going to be no more division and separation, okay, over a land, over a block. That's foolishness, man. This is my hood and all this foolishness. Talking about you got to check in and all this. I'm like, what is this, man? Oh, you got to check into my city. For what? Okay? You don't run nothing here, man. All right? We don't run this earth, man. That's the thing, that we have this hatred toward each other. All right? When these different artists come by, oh, you got to check in and all that. Check in for what, man? That's foolishness. Read on.
Oh, blessed are they which love thee,
Uh-huh.
for they shall rejoice in thy peace.
Right.
Blessed are they which have been sorrowful for all the scourges,
Uh-huh.
for they shall rejoice for thee.
Right.
When they have seen all thy glory, and shall be glad forever.
And we should be glad forever as a nation of people, man. Okay? We can pretend to be happy now with what? Material things? A little bit of money in the bank account, but then what? All right? All that's gonna come to naught, man. All right? You can't take none of the stuff that you have with you. You can't take the car with you. You can't take the money, the house, your favorite pair of shoes, or that dress that you got hanging up. All right? You can't take that stuff with you. All right? Ready?
Oh, blessed are they. Oh, blessed are they which love thee, for they shall rejoice in thy peace.
Right.
Blessed are they which have been sorrowful for all thy scourges,
Uh-huh.
for they shall rejoice for thee. When they have seen all thy glory,
Right.
and shall be glad forever.
Forever. Read.
Let my soul bless Yahweh,
Uh-huh.
the great King.
The great King. Read.
For Jerusalem,
For who?
for Jerusalem,
No, America.
for
He
Jerusalem
said for Jerusalem, Jerusalem, read.
shall be built up with sapphires
Uh-huh.
and emeralds
Right.
and precious stones.
Right.
Thy walls and towers and the battlements with pure gold.
Man, that sounds like freedom to me. Okay, what we see around here, man? Stucco, wood, glass. All right, this is not freedom. Okay, you got to pay mortgage and all this stuff, paying bills. That's not exactly what people call freedom. Sure, you may have your own space. All right, but when you start paying those bills, what happens? You got to give it up to the bank, man. All right, if you're not paying those taxes, read on.
And the streets of Jerusalem
Uh-huh.
shall be paved with beryl
It shall be paid with beryl. Read.
and carbuncle
Uh-huh.
and stones of Ophir.
Right.
And all her streets shall say, Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right, they're going to be singing the praise. That's the highest praise. Hallelujah. Read on.
And they shall praise him,
Uh-huh.
saying, Blessed be
He
Yahweh,
said, blessed be Yahweh, read.
which have extolled it forever.
And he has extolled the kingdom forever, man. Thus said the Most High. All right. And let me get Zechariah chapter 8. Let me see here. All right. This is what we should be looking for, man. We should be striving for the righteousness of our people. All right. The freedom that we most earnestly desire. Okay. This is not living. Okay. What we going through as a nation of people. Because a lot of people think, well, that's not me. You see it on the news all the time. You know, people crying about, oh, I never thought it would happen to my child and all this stuff. All right? We shouldn't be going through that as a nation of people because we're not really free. Okay? We don't belong here. All right? This is not our rest. All right? What's that? What I call it? Zechariah 8? All right? Yeah. Verse 4 through 8. I like these set of scriptures here.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 8, and verse 4.
Uh-huh. Bring it out.
Thus saith the Most High of Hosts,
Right.
There shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem.
And this is what we want, man. We want all our people to be there, not just a remnant. Because I know a little bit of our people may live in Jerusalem, but we want all our people to be there, man. We don't want to mix with the heathens. All right? We want to have that time with the old and the young and the old women and the old men. You know what I'm saying? Have their time out in the street, man. Okay? I want them to be my neighbors, man. Okay? I don't want a Jewish man or a Chinese or a Japanese or African to be my next door neighbor. All right. I want it to be a fellow Hebrew, man. All right. That's what we should be looking for. Read on.
And every man with his staff in his hand for very age.
He said, every man with a staff in his hand for very age. All right. For the elderly, the hoary heads. Read.
And the streets of the city
shall
be filled of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof.
And that's what we want, man. All right. We don't have to watch out for cars coming and everything. All right. You see that right now. You know, so I used to play football on the streets, throw the football around, whatever. It was cool. Right. But this is not Orlando. You know what I'm saying? We don't belong here. All right. Read on.
Thus saith the Most High of Hosts. If it be marvelous.
If it be what?
If it be marvelous.
If it be marvelous, it'd be a great thing. Read.
In the eyes of the remnant of this people in these days. Should it also be marvelous in mine eyes?
It says, shouldn't it be marvelous in the Most High's eyes to see our people having a great time? Okay, not worrying about getting locked up, getting shot down by the cops, getting harassed, racially discriminated against. It should be marvelous, man. Read.
Thus say the Most High of Hosts. Behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country. And I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem.
And they should do what?
And they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem.
Are we going to be dwelling in the midst of Jerusalem?
And I will bring them, and I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their power.
Right. And we're going to be back, okay? And the Most High's grace, man. All right? Is that up to 8? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
In truth and in righteousness.
In truth and righteousness, man. Because that's what we're looking forward to as a nation of people. All right? Now let me get a Revelations. Let's see here, 21. All right, let's see here. Oh, okay, yeah. Revelation 21 and verse 4. Okay. After all the tribulation that we went through as a nation of people, you know what I'm saying, the Most High is still going to be looking out for us as a nation. So this is what we want. Read on.
The book of Revelation, chapter 22 and verse 4.
Oh, 21.
It's like 21 and verse 4. And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
And this is what we should be looking for as a nation of people, man, because we done been through all the tribulations, okay, the robbery, the rape, okay, the crimes committed against us as a nation of people, right? Read on.
There shall be no more death.
There should be no what?
There shall be no more death.
And there's not going to be no more death, man. All right? Everybody's going to be living good, man. All right? To old age. Read.
Neither sorrow.
He said there's going to be no more sorrow. Read.
Nor crying.
No more crying. Read.
Neither all shall there be any more pain.
And there should be no more pain, man. Okay? We've been through all the struggles as a nation of people. The slavery. Okay? The incarceration of our people, man. All right? We should have no more pain, man. Read.
For the former things are passed away.
It said, for those things should be passed away, man. We should be looking forward to the greatness and the freedom of our people, man. Okay? All those, the police brutality and the criminal acts have been held against us, the lynchings, the hangings, the burnings, okay? All that should be passed away, man. And we should be rejoiceful as a nation of people. And we don't have to go through all those tribulations again, those atrocities as a nation of people, man. All right? Well, your Revelation is 21 and 12, all right? Another popular set of scriptures to let you know that the kingdom is not for everybody, man. Okay? Everybody's not going through what we're going through as a nation of people, man. Okay? Sure, you got Black Lives Matter, you got other nations amongst us. All right? They're trying to blend in and trying to be like for your cause. All right? You got these other nations, you got the heathens, you got the Caucasians, the Chinese, all of them want to get mixed in with what we got going on. All right? But at the end of the day, you going back to the hood, they going back to the suburbs. All right? So what struggle are they going through? All right? They going back to their gated communities, right? And then you going back to your apartment, all right, in the hood somewhere, okay, with corner stores and prostitutes and drug dealers in the corner of the streets, all right? After all the thing is said and done, right? Bring it out.
The book of Revelation, chapter 21 and verse 12.
It
had a great wall and high.
Yeah, it had a great wall and high. This is the kingdom, man. Okay, read.
It had 12 gates.
No, just one gate.
It had 12
It
gates.
said it had 12 gates. All right, it's specific. Read.
And at the gates, 12 angels.
Yeah, 12 angels, like 12 bouncers. Like some of the people be at the club. You got 12 angels, man. Okay? And the way the angels are described in the scriptures, you can't get past them. Okay? You probably give the ghost. All right, read on.
Which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
And it's specific. It said, which are the names or the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Okay? Not anybody could be here, man. This is VIP. All right, for the nation of Israel. This is not for the Chinese, the Caucasian man, the Egyptians, the Ethiopians. It's not for these people, man. All right? The gates have specific names for specific tribes, for specific people to enter into. All right, this is not for everybody. Read on.
And on the east, 3 gates.
Uh-huh.
On the north, 3 gates.
Right.
On the south, 3 gates.
Uh-huh.
And on the west, 3 gates.
Right.
And the wall of the city had 12 foundations.
Yeah, how many foundations?
12 foundations.
12 foundations. You find these numbers, you know what I'm saying, all throughout the scriptures. The 12 tribes, 12 disciples. Okay, it's significant. It means something. Read. Right.
And the wall of the city had 12 foundations.
Uh-huh.
And in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb.
Right. You know?
And he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city.
Uh-huh.
And the gates thereof, and the wall thereof, and the city lieth 4 square.
Right.
And the length is as large as the breadth.
Right. Right.
And he measured the city with the reed, 12,000 furlongs.
It said 12,000 furlongs. So that number 12 is significant. Read.
The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal.
Uh-huh.
And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits.
All right.
According to the measure of the man, that is, of the angel.
Uh-huh.
And the building of the city of it was jasper.
Right.
And the city was pure gold, like
Uh-huh.
clear glass.
Right.
And the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones.
Right.
The first foundation was jasper.
Uh-huh.
The second sapphire.
Right.
The third chalcedony. The fourth emerald.
Uh-huh.
The fifth sardonyx.
Right.
The sixth sardius.
Uh-huh.
The seventh chrysolite.
Right.
The eighth beryl.
Mm-hmm.
The ninth topaz.
Right.
The 10th a chrysoprase.
Right.
The 11th a jacinth.
Uh-huh.
The 12th an amethyst.
Right. You know?
And the 12 gates were 12 pearls.
Yeah.
Every several gate was of 1 pearl.
It said every several gate was of 1 pearl. All right, that's royalty right there, right? Read. And the street.
And the street of the city was pure gold,
Uh-huh.
as it was transparent glass.
It said the street was like transparent glass, man. Could you imagine that, man? All right. And a lot of people think what they got down here is something spectacular. Okay, they got the biggest mansion or whatever. That's nothing compared to what the Most High is going to build on this place, man. Read.
And I saw no temple therein,
Right.
for the Most High Power Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it.
Uh-huh.
And the city had no need of the sun,
Right. Read on.
neither of the moon,
Uh-huh.
to shine in it.
Right.
For the Most High, for the glory of the Most High did lighten it.
He said just the glory of the Most High alone is enough illumination, it's enough light. Right? Read on.
And the Lamb is the light thereof.
Uh-huh. He said even Yahweh shine. Read.
And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it.
All right.
And the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it.
Right.
And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day.
And they said the gates are not going to be shut. Read.
By there shall be no night there.
They said it's not going to be night there. Read.
And they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it.
Uh-huh.
And there shall be in no wise enter into it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie.
Right. You can't just bring anything into the kingdom to defile it. All right. Because everything's going to be in its righteous order. Uh-huh. Read on.
But they which are written in the Lamb's book of life.
Right. He said, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. All right. All praise the Most High for that. So we're gonna go into a little bit of the reflection, because we read through all the glory of the good things of what freedom is like. So we're just gonna reflect a little bit of what we went through as a nation of people. So we can go to Joel chapter 3, verse 1 through 9. All right. Like I said, the Most High about balance. You know what I'm saying? We went through so much as a nation of people. The captivity, the atrocities, the rape, the robbery, all right, the destruction of our people, not knowing who we are, all right. So this is a little reflection of what we went through as a nation, all right. Yeah. We're going to go chapter 3, verse 1 through 9.
The book of Joel, chapter 3, and verse 4.
1 through 9.
For behold, in those days, and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations.
I will do what?
I will also gather all nations.
He said he's going to gather all these nations. All right, read on.
And will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
The valley of judgment, read.
And will plead with them there for my people.
And he's going to plead with them for my people. Okay? The scripture didn't say he's going to plead for all people. He's being specific. All right? That's a pronoun, mine. All right? That's my house, my shoes, my car. That's my rib. All right? That's my hat. Okay? He's being specific. All right? Read on.
And for my heritage Israel.
He said, and for the heritage of Israel. Yasharella. Read on.
Whom they have scattered among the nations.
And we've been scattered amongst all these nations, man. All right, read on.
And parted my land.
And did what?
And parted my land.
And they parted the land. All right, read.
And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot.
Right.
And sold a girl for wine.
Right. This is what we went through as a nation of people, man. All right. We've been traded, bartered. All right, this is what happened to our nation, man. To our forefathers and foremothers, man. Okay, we can't forget that. All right, we can't just let bygones be bygones, man. It's only right that we give payback to these nations, man, for what they did to our people. All right, it's only right, according to the Most High. Read on.
That they might drink.
That they may drink. Read.
Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?
He said, what do you have to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon? All right, read on.
And all the coasts of Palestine. Will you render me a recompense?
He said, will you pay me back? Read.
And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head.
And he's going to return it back at their own heads, man. All right? It's only right. Read on.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold.
Because you have done what?
Ye have taken my silver and my gold.
It could be twofold. It could be the actual silver and gold, and it could be our people. Okay? Because we are precious in the Most High's eyes. Right? We're his children. Read on.
And have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things.
All right.
The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians.
And we've been sold unto these nations, man. Sold unto the Grecians. All right. That's why I brought it out in Psalms 2 and 8, man. Okay, we're going to have them, okay, for servants and slaves. It's only right. Read on.
That ye might remove, behold, I will raise them out of the place where ye have sold them. And will return your recompense upon your own head.
He said he's going to give you payback upon your own head.
And I will sell your sons.
What?
I will sell your sons.
He said, I will sell your sons, just like how they did us. All right. Back during slavery, divided the family. All right. Separated for us. Put us in this state. All right. Put your sister over here. Put your brother in this state. This plantation and another plantation. Try to divide the family up, read.
And your daughters.
He said, and your daughters, read.
Into the hand of the children of Judah.
Right. He's going to give them to our people, man. All right. So now they're going to feel what it's like to be bought and sold. Just like what we went through, what our forefathers and foremothers went through. Read on.
Into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians.
All right.
To a people far off.
All right.
For the Most High have spoken.
He said, for the Most High have spoken, man. Thus said the Most High God. All right. If you get Isaiah 55 and 11. All right. Right.
Verse 9.
Uh-huh.
Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles.
It said, proclaim these words of these other nations, unto these Gentiles, read.
Prepare war.
Do what?
Prepare war.
It said, prepare war, read.
Wake up the mighty men.
Uh-huh.
Let all the men of war draw near.
Right.
Let them come up.
All right. All right. Isaiah 55, verse 11.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 55, and verse 11.
Uh-huh.
So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth.
It says, so shall the word that goeth forth out of the Most High's mouth. Okay. Once the word go out, that's it, man. Okay, you can't ask the Most High to change his mind about certain things. All right? Read.
And it shall not return unto me void.
Uh-huh. Now I go back to the Most High's void. Read.
But it shall accomplish.
It should do what?
It shall accomplish.
It shall accomplish, okay? Make happen. Read.
That which I please.
Which the Most High please. All right, read on.
And it shall prosper in the day whereto I sent it.
It says, it shall prosper in the thing whereunto I sent it. So wherever the word goes, it's going to prosper in that. Right? Thus saith the Most High God. Okay? A lot of people want, this war not to happen between Ukraine and Russia and all this foolishness. Okay, it's up to the Most High, man. All right? He makes that decision. All right? He sanctioned everything to happen. All right? So let's go for another reflection. All right? Ezekiel 39:23. All right? And this is the reason why we're going through this as a nation of people. All right? 39 and verse 23.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 39 and verse 23.
Uh-huh.
And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity.
He said, and the heathen shall know that the house of Yasharallah went into captivity for their iniquity. All right? This is why we went into captivity, man. We can try to blame the other nations. All right? I'm sure they made things, I'm not sure, but they made things worse than what it should have been. All right? So we've been put through this as a whooping stick. All right? For our punishment. Okay? For our rebelliousness. Read on.
Because they trespassed against me.
Because we trespassed against the Most High. All right? That's why we went through this as a nation. Read.
Therefore hid I my face from them.
And the Most High hid his face from us, man. All right? He covered his eyes, man. You know what? I'm not going to see what they're going through. I'm just going to go back to my place. All right? Read on.
And gave them into the hand of their enemies.
And the Most High gave us into the hand of our enemies, man. All right? And we're still here to this very day. All right? This is not freedom. We haven't left yet as a nation of people. All right? Sure, we have a pass, quote unquote, to travel the world, but then what? You got to come right back. All right? So this is not exactly what we so-called freedom. All right? You can visit other countries, go on vacations. All right? But at the end of the day, all right, the earth is given in the hand of the wicked, and they still control everything. All right? That's why we have to get passports from these other nations. It's like a pass. All right? But you got to come right back. All right? Read on.
So fell they all by the sword.
And this is why we fell by the sword, man. The modern day sword, the gun. We getting shot down in the street, screaming no justice, no peace. All right? That's all people, man. Because of our iniquity, that's what we fell short. All right? So let's go to the famous Deuteronomy 28:68. All right?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68.
Read on.
And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
And the Most High said he's going to bring us back into Egypt a second time. Now, we know if we look at the map, we don't need a ship to go from Egypt to Israel or Israel back to Egypt. He said a second time. So, America spiritually is that Egypt that the Most High is talking about. All right? We all know about the dollar bill, all right, the pyramid. We even know about the pyramids in Memphis, Tennessee, okay, which is a coincidence. How you name the city Memphis? You got a pyramid there. All right, we know about the obelisk that's in Washington, D.C. All right, these are little hints that the Most High is giving our people that, hey, you're still in captivity, man. You're not in freedom yet. Y'all are not free. We going through this a second time, man. All right, read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
By the way that Moses said is going to happen. Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
And we should not see it no more again. Read on.
And there.
And who?
And there.
And there, America, the Caribbean, all right, Europe, all right, Spain. Read.
Thou shalt see no more again.
Right.
There you shall be sold unto your enemies.
And we will be sold unto our enemies, our adversaries. Read.
For bondmen.
For slave men. Read.
And bondwomen.
Slave women. Read.
And no man shall buy you.
And no man is going to redeem us out of this captivity, man. All right. God.
Isaiah 52 and 3.
Isaiah 52 and 3. All right, you can bring that up.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 52, and verse 3.
For
thus saith Yahweh,
right.
Ye have sold yourselves for naught.
And we have sold ourselves for nothing, man. Right.
And ye shall be redeemed without money.
And we should be redeemed without money. Okay? No matter how much bread you got in the bank, in your wallet. Okay, a lot of people like to floss all these stacks of cash and put it to their ear like it's a phone or whatever. Okay, you're going to be redeemed without that. You can't take that with you. All right? Don't say the Most High God, man. All right? Come on. Back to Deuteronomy. All right? The money's not going to save us, man. All right? No matter how hard you try to take it with you, or you think it's gonna, you think you're gonna buy the Most High with cash and jewelry and diamonds, it's not gonna work, man. All right, it's not gonna accept that. Okay, it's after the Spirit. You can go to read Deuteronomy 20, see there again.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68.
And
the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
He's gonna bring us into bondage again. The second time with slave ships, cargo slave ships, read.
By the way whereof I speak unto thee.
By the way Moses said it was going to happen.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Right.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies.
Right.
For bondmen.
For bondmen, slave men, read.
And bondwomen.
And
no man shall buy you.
Right. That's it, Most High. All right. You jump to 32. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 32.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 32. Thy sons, thy sons,
it said thy sons, read.
And thy daughters,
and your daughters, read.
Shall be given unto another people.
Right. And this is going to be the flip side, as it said in Joel. Okay, we're going to turn tables around and sell their daughters and their sons unto Judah. All right. This is what happened to us. It's only so right, man. All right. Read. Is that on it?
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
Yeah, you see that in the movies, all right? When they separated the children from the mother was crying, all right? They had no might they had, man. We didn't have no military might back then or any power to be like, hey, you can't touch my child, all right? The Most High put that spirit in us to be like, look, we're going to be subservient to these other nations, man, all right? But the table's got to flip, man. It's only so right, all right? Verse 43.
Verse 43.
Bring it out.
The stranger that is within thee.
He said, the stranger, these other nations that's within our communities, read.
Shall get up above thee very high.
And they above us very high, man. All right, they high-minded. Okay, they think we're nobody. All right, read.
And thou shalt come down very low.
And we came down very low as nation of people. You understand? Oh, okay, I did that already. All right. So let me get Baruch, chapter 4. And we're going to read from 6 to 10.
The book of Baruch, chapter 4, and verse 6. You were sold to the nations.
We were what?
Ye were sold to the nations.
And we were sold to these nations, read.
But not for your destruction.
Not for your destruction, because we're still here in this present day. All right, read on.
But because you moved the Most High to wrath.
We moved the Most High to wrath, man. He was mad at us, boy. He was angry. All right, read.
You were delivered unto the enemies.
And we were delivered unto the hands of these enemies, man, these other nations. All these captivities that we went through as a nation. Read. 7.
For ye provoke him that made you by sacrificing unto devils.
And you provoke the Most High, man. He's like you poking him in the side, like you provoking him. Like, look, I'm gonna get upset. I'm gonna get mad. Right? Read.
And not to the Most High.
And not to Yahweh. Read.
Ye have forgotten the everlasting power.
And we forgot the Most High, man. We totally forgot, man. The only time we recognize the Most High is when we're in trouble, or we need money or something. You know what I'm saying? We're praying for the most frivolous things, all right? And not for our nation to be on top. All right, we ask for money, cars, and all this foolishness. All right, things of no value. Read on.
Ye have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you.
Right, he has nursed us, man. Like any parent would do, they'll nurse their children. All right, because we are the children of the Most High. He nursed us. He brought us up. Read on.
For when she saw the wrath of the Most High coming upon you, she said, Hearken, O ye that dwell about Zion. The Most High hath brought upon me great mourning.
And he brought upon us a great mourning as a nation of people, man. All right? These Jewish people, they're in mourning, man. All right? They run Hollywood, the Diamond District, the banks. They got their own community. All right? They got money circling within their own community, man. All right? That's the thing we don't have a nation of people. We don't have that togetherness to build a nation. Read on. Verse 10.
Verse 10.
For
I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters,
right,
which the everlasting brought upon them.
Right. Now we're going to go back to Baruch 3 and 8. All right. Just to let you know that we still here, man, as a nation. Okay, we have an FJET, okay, as a whole. And read on.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3, and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity.
We are very yet this day in our captivity. So-called 2022. We haven't left yet. All right? We haven't gone back to our homeland, learned our custom, our heritage. Okay? Not all Jake is wearing fringes, borders of blue. Not all of our sisters got their head wrapped, long dresses. All right? They're wearing these Gucci Mama outfits, shorts, leggings. Okay? We still here in our captivity, man. Read on.
Behold, we are yet this, the book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us.
Where the Most High has scattered us.
For a reproach,
right,
and a curse.
And a curse. We're a cursed nation, read.
And to be subject to payments.
And we've been subject to these bills, man. Light bills. Okay. Car insurance, car note, phone bill. All right. We've been subject to payments, man. Read on.
According to all the iniquities of our fathers.
It said, according to the iniquities of our forefathers, man. This is why we're in this condition today. Because of what they did. Because of their disobedience. Read on.
Which departed from the Most High, our power.
And they departed, man. All right. They decided to separate themselves from the Most High and say, you know, we're going to do our own thing. So as you can see, it didn't work out. All right. But we're still here. All right. Now let me get Matthew 22 and verse 15. Matthew chapter 22 and verse 15 through 21.
The book of Matthew chapter 22 and verse 15. Then went the Pharisees and took counsel how they might entangle him in his walk.
All right, these are the Pharisees. Read. They're trying to cause confusion away the most Yahweh in his speech. Okay, they're trying to trip him up, right?
And they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true, right, and teachest the way of the Most High in truth. And truth, read. Neither carest thou for any man, for thou regardest not the person of man. Right. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? Is it lawful to give a tribute unto Caesar? We pay taxes here. All right. That's how you know we're not in rulership. We're not in freedom as a nation of people. Okay. Our faces are not on the money, it's not on the coins. All right. Sure, they got this thing where they try to put it on. Was it a Harry Tubman?
All right, they try to put their face on the currency. All right, but that's not most notable. All right, they know about the Benjamins and the Franklins. They know about those. All right, that's how they know they don't want us as a people to have, let's say, like we taking over the currency. Our face is gonna be on the money. They don't want that to happen, man. All right, and look how long it took for that to happen. That's how you know they don't care nothing for us, man. All right, everybody know about the Benjamins, the Andrews. All right, the Franklin. They know about those. Those are notable. Read.
For Yahweh perceived their wickedness and said,
Uh-huh.
Why tempt ye me,
Right.
ye hypocrites?
Ye
hypocrites.
Right.
Shew me the tribute money.
He said, show me the bread, right?
And they brought him unto him, and they brought unto him a penny.
Uh-huh.
And he said unto them, Whose is this image and superscription?
He said, whose picture is this? And this superscription, right?
They say unto him, Caesar's.
Uh-huh.
And he said he unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things that which are Caesar's.
Right.
And to the Most High the things that are of the Most High.
He said, so render the things that's unto Caesar, and whatever's of the Most High Yahweh, render those things unto him. All right. Let me get, what's that, Baruch? Oh, 5 and 1. I'm gonna end off with this one. 5 verse 1.
The book of Baruch, chapter 5 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
Put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of thy mourning and affliction.
He said, put off Jerusalem the garment of mourning and affliction. All right? We need to put those things off. All right? And look forward to our freedom as a nation of people. All right? So we can be redeemed from the four corners of the earth, man. Get out of this captivity that we're in. Read on.
And put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from the Most High forever.
And put on that beautifulness, man. Put on that beauty. All right? Read.
Cast about thee a double garment of the righteousness, which cometh from the Most High, and set a diadem on thine head of the glory of the everlasting.
Right.
For the Most High will shew thy brightness unto every country under heaven.
Right.
For thy name shall be called of the Most High forever.
Forever. Read.
The peace of righteousness and the glory of the Most High's worship.
Right.
Arise, O Jerusalem.
He said, arise, O Jerusalem, read.
And stand on high.
And
stand on high.
And stand on high.
And look about toward the east.
And we have to face the east, read.
And behold, thy children gather from the west unto the east by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the remembrance of the Most High.
All right, we're going to be gathered together, okay, from the east and the west, north, south, read. Verse 6.
For they departed from thee on foot, and were led away of their enemies.
And we were led away from our enemies, read.
For Yahweh bringeth them unto thee exalted with glory.
Right.
As children of the kingdom.
As who?
As children of the kingdom.
He said, as children of the kingdom, read.
For Yahweh hath appointed that every high hill and banks of long continuance should be cast down. Right. And valleys filled up. Right. To make even the ground that Israel may go safely in the glory of the Most High.
That Israel may go safely in the glory of Yahweh.
Moreover, even the woods and every sweet-smelling tree shall overshadow Israel by the commandment of the Most High.
By the commandment of Yahweh.
For Yahweh shall lead Israel with joy.
With who?
With joy.
With what?
With joy.
With joy, read.
In the light of his glory. With the mercy and righteousness that cometh from him.
Okay, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That was a pre-class. The topic was what freedom is really like. You understand? So our people should take heed, man. That's what we should be looking forward to, man. We can't be comfortable here in America thinking it's all good. All right? We should be looking for that freedom, looking for that kingdom. All right? Because what I read, it sounds great to me, man. It sounds like something you want to be in and partake in. All right? So all praises to the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, for this word, edifying our people, to give them hope, something to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? All right? Because we should be tired of, paying bills and worrying about, when next meal coming or these nations going to harm our children and all this foolishness, man. We should be able to live in peace. All right? That's what we should be looking forward to. All right? Time. All right, so we're going to bring up the teachers for the Shabbat, the Torah portion. All right, so all praises to Yahweh Shem Shai, for his mercy surely endures forever. Hallelujah.
Amoan Bonoya Banyashala. Amoan Bonoya Banyashala. Yahaba Shimya Shabakata. Yahaba Shimya Shabakata. Ahad Ban Banyamyan Banyashala.
Ahad Ban Banyamyan Ban Yashima.
Yahaba Shimya Shabakata.
Yahaba Shimya Shabakata.
Good time. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Like this. I need the batteries under my thing.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Let's give the Most High a round of applause for our glorious Lord. All praises to the Most High. He gave us a great Shabbat opening fast. Today's portion is Leviticus chapter 12 to the ending of Leviticus chapter 13. If I'm correct, right? To the ending of Leviticus chapter 13. So we do have a short portion, but then again, it has a lot of information that's in it that we're going to revisit. There's a lot of old things that we revisited in Genesis, and we're going to go back over again. Because it's very important that we go over these portions. It's very important we go over this information every week, because we can't go over the whole book of Leviticus in one day. 95% of the things that we bring out, you're probably going to forget. But we take our time and we go by stages. Just like when we woke up to the truth, the Most High woke us up in stages.
Right.
You have to get yourself right in stages. It's the process for everything. And learning this Torah, it's a process. That's why in the last minute, you can't wait in the last minute that you're going to be saved. Because it takes a month. I believe studies show it takes 30 days to get rid of a habit. So you can't wait until the last minute thinking you're going to be saved. And you're going to completely stop lying and stealing and robbing and covetousness and all this, etc. No, it takes time. It takes diligence. It takes sacrifice. And going over the portion is no different. It's a process. You got to trust the process. It's a marathon. It's not a race. Let's open up with Colossians 3:17.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17.
Uh-huh.
And whatsoever ye do in word or deed,
Do
all in the name of the other one, Yahweh
right.
Shai.
So, you already made eye contact with me first, so I'm going to call you. Sister Bakaya, Colossians 3:17. You made eye contact with me quick and then you put your head down. What does Colossians 3:17 mean? I'm going to hit you with a Levitical card too. May explique me Creole too. My popon. What does that mean? I'm going to keep asking that so everybody tell me the answer right away. The minute I say Colossians 17, I should see hands up in the air already. 3, verset 17. What does Colossians 3:17 mean? In the meantime, we're going to read it again.
The
We're
book
going to
of
read it again.
Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17.
Uh-huh.
And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the other one, Yahweh Shai, giving thanks to the power and the honor by him.
There you go. Okay. So in Creole, it breaks it down for you too. Everything you say, everything you do it in the name of the Messiah. You do it in reputation of the Messiah. When you say something, you remember. Did Yahweh say it's okay for me to curse my husband out? Did he say it's okay for me to curse my wife out? Did he say it's okay for me to be a liar, a thief? Did Yahweh steal money from the temple of the Most High? You got to remember, what would Yahweh do
This is why we always open up with the scripture. Would Yahweh Shai be drooling on the Bible and sleeping on the Shabbat? No, he would not. He was actually standing up to read during the Shabbat. So if you're doing something contrary to that, you're not doing what would Yahweh Shai do? Because that's not what he did when he was on earth. He was attentive to understand, get an understanding of the scriptures and teach. That's the spirit he was rolling in. And that's the spirit we should be rolling in as well. Let's get Matthew 4:4. Everybody, when you're at Matthew 4:4, say "Kan," so we know that everybody's there. Matthew chapitre 4, verset 4.
The book of Matthew, chapter 4 and verse 4.
Go ahead, read.
But he answered and said,
This is something that's chiefly important, that we do what?
It is written,
That what?
man shall not live by bread
We
alone.
don't live by it with money. You know, we need it, but we could go out without it. We could go out without having women and a husband and food for a time. But one thing you can't go out without is who? The Most High God. You're not living until you know the Most High God. You're not really living life without knowing the Most High God. A lot of times the Messiah says, follow me and I'll make you a living. I'll show you what life is. If we say this to this day, when somebody get rich, what do you say? Now you about to really live. That's what the Messiah was saying. When you get to know the Most High God and keep the commandments, and you have a relationship with the Father, now you really about to live life. Now you want to understand the true purpose of life, the thing that's chiefly important in this life on earth. When you know the Most High God, so man shall not live by bread alone, but what?
But by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God.
But that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High God. The Torah was not the Moses' words. It was Moses being a voice message for the Most High God to the Israelites. We need the Torah. We need the Tanakh. We need the words of Yahweh Shai to live. That's what brought us here. That's what's going to cause us to have that everlasting prosperity that the Most High promised to us in the kingdom of heaven. He promised it to us. Give me Jeremiah 9:23 as well. Jeremiah 9:23. We're going to go to like 2 more scriptures. And we're going to go right into the portion. Jeremiah 9:23. And that's something that we oftentimes forget. Sometimes.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter.
Is everybody at Jeremiah 9:23? I know it is windy. We got one con. Can we get another con? Con.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 9 and verse 23.
Read.
Thus saith Yahweh.
This is coming out of the mouth of the Most High. Read.
Let not the wise man glory in his wisdom.
So if you got a PhD and a master's degree, don't brag about that. Right? In America, it seems like that's something you can brag about. I got a PhD, like Kevin Samuel says. I got a PhD. Right? Read.
Neither let the mighty man glory in his
Now,
might.
if you can do 100 push-ups and you got abs, your chest could go like this, like Terry Crews. Don't brag about that. Yeah, sisters like that, Sisters, brothers like abs too. Not too much, but they like little abs too. But don't brag about that, Read.
Let not the rich man glory in his riches.
If you got a Mercedes-Benz, don't worry about that. You got a 6 figures, you can't talk about that. That's not nothing to really brag about. Yes, it's good. It's great. You can accomplish things with it, but that's not something you really brag about. The Most High is about to tell you what you have to brag about. Read.
But in him that glorieth, glory in this.
This is what you get the glory about. This is what you brag about. Read.
That he understandeth and knoweth me.
That you do what?
He understandeth and knoweth me.
That you understand and you know the Most High God. This is the only thing you can brag about. Somebody can tell you, man, I got a PhD, man. You a Hebrew Israelite? And you guys broke. You a broke boy. Well, that's good. That's great. Because I know cars is not fire resistant.
Right.
I know the Most High. Right. I know the creator of heaven and earth. Go ahead. Yeah, I know. She was trying to captivate our captain. This old lady. She retired and wanted his father. But there's nothing to brag about, man. The only thing we honestly can brag about is where we know the Most High God. Everybody on earth do not know the Most High God. Because why would the Messiah say this? Give me John 3:19. I don't want to get off topic too much. Jean chapitre 3, verset 19. Why would the Messiah say this? If everybody know the Most High, if everybody walk in the light of the Most High, why would he say this? Because we understand the way we live and can walk upon the face of the earth is completely contrary to what they teach us in America. It's completely contrary to what we see in our neighborhoods, what we see on TV. It's completely different. So everybody can't know the Most High. It's either we're wrong or they're right. Or they're right and we're wrong. Read.
The book of John, chapter 3 and verse 19.
Read.
And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world.
The light is coming to the world. The truth is coming out. But what?
And men
and
love,
who?
and men,
and who?
And men,
and men love what?
Love darkness.
See, a lot of people love darkness. A lot of people don't know the Most High. In their mind, they think the Most High is okay with you being a junkie. You're just getting high all day on cocaine and crack and Molly and all these promethazine and all these drugs and stuff. But read.
That light is coming to the world.
Read.
And men love darkness.
Read.
Rather than light.
Read.
Because their deeds.
Because they're what?
Because their deeds.
Because their works, their actions, read.
Were evil.
Their deeds and actions is evil. So nobody could brag in this world that's not keeping the commandments. Only we have the right to brag. We can say we know what the Most High loves. We know what the Most High is waiting for, have for in store for his saints. We know that all the sacrifices we make right now is going to benefit us to the kingdom to come. We could talk about how our God is going to destroy sleepy Joe Biden, money bag Joseph. We could talk about that. And rightfully so, because we know the Most High God. How do you know the Most High? Nope, I sorry, I know you about to say it. Don't say it. I stopped you before you can say it. How do we know the Most High? God. Book, chapter, verse. BCV. Let's bring it out.
All right.
1 John 2 and 3.
The book of 1 John, chapter 2 and verse 3.
Is everybody at 1 John 2 and 3? This is a scripture to show how you know the Most High God. If somebody say they know the Most High and they're not doing this, we want to see what the scriptures are going to say about it. If you're at 1 John chapter 2 and 3, say "Con," so we know we're going at the right place for everybody. Yeah. All right, "Con," all praises. You there? Look, you not there? You should not put you gotta sit next to him, so you can help him out, so he can be able to get it quick. Quite a decent pace. Yeah. You got it? All right, Con, all praises. Let's get it.
The book of 1 John chapter 2 and verse 3.
Uh-huh.
And hereby we do know that we know him.
Read.
If we keep his commandments.
If you keep the commandments. Now, if you don't keep the commandments, can you say you know the Most High? No, you cannot say you know the Most High God. Read.
He that saith, I know him.
I know the Most High. I love God. You know, our people say this all the time. Read.
And keepeth not his commandments.
But you don't keep his instructions. Read.
Is a liar.
Is a what?
Is a liar.
Is a who?
Is a liar.
Is a liar. Because isn't the Most High our Father? And we're the children. You know, Papa Dayala, because you guys got your father here. What are some rules that your father gave? I know one of them you told me that your dad said when you get off the bus, what do you got to do? When you get off school, when you get off the bus, school bus, what you got to do? Before you get home, what you got to do? What's your phone?
You get off the bus from school.
Oh, I call my dad.
You call your dad. Now, if you don't do that, does that mean you love your dad? If you don't call your dad and you get off the bus, do you love him? You love him? Mm-hmm. You showing him disrespect because you didn't call him. He told you to make sure you call him. If you don't call him, is that showing him love? No. If your mom tell you to wash the dishes and you curse your mom out, is that showing love? He said, hell no. You know what time it is. I know what time it is. I was your age too. I know your time that time.
You gotta be brave to do that one.
Mommy's gonna say, oh, and then go to the room and finish. I already know. But it's keep the obedience, having that obedience with the Most High God. That's that love. That's how you show you know him. And it's very important that we always remember that. Knowing the Most High is keeping the commandments, keeping that instruction. It's like you showing that your parent, you respect your parent, you love your parent. It's following that instruction. No matter if you 1 years old or if you 50 years old, 80 years old, honoring your parent, respecting your parent, like you have to honor the Most High God. And going over the Torah is teaching you how to know the Most High. It's teaching you how to have that relationship and love with the Most High God. Acts 15:21, real quick. And we're going to go right back. We're going to go to the portion. Acts 15:21.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 15, verse 21.
Give everybody a second so they can get there as well. All right, go ahead.
The book of Acts, chapter 15, and verse 21. For Moses.
For who?
For Moses.
For Moses, read.
Of old time.
Ancient times, we're reading about Moses now. Read.
Hath in every city.
In every what?
In every city.
In every city, every providence, everywhere. Where the Israelites are. Read.
Them that preach him.
Them that preach him, read. Being
read in the synagogues every Sabbath day.
Every Shabbat, we're supposed to read about Moses, which is the laws of the Most High God. We're supposed to know about Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the laws dealing with how you deal with your brother, the laws dealing with how your relationship with the Most High, the ceremonial law, what you can and cannot eat, how to give your brother restitution when you break his things, how to respect your wife, how to love your husband. There's a reason why we go over these this Torah every year, every week we go over it for a purpose. It's to teach you how to know the Most High, how to establish the relationship with the Most High. What do you think is going to happen if you don't know the Most High in these last days? 2 Thessalonians 1:8. That's my last scripture. Then we'll go into the portion. What do you think is going to happen to those that don't know the Most High? They're going to be what? Exactly. Judgment, and you will be put to death. So it's very important that we understand and we know this. Because you understand this. You're responsible for your own soul salvation. Man, woman, and child. No matter how old you are, you're responsible for your own soul salvation. If a child was 4 or 5 years old, you're going to be judged on what you did in your past life. On time of your Hawashai is coming. Because there's no works for you to do, good or evil. But for you, that's to have understanding. If you're a child, you got understanding. Those of you that's an adult, you got to seek your own soul salvation. Don't try to cleave on to Captain Ahud or cleave on to Katab or cleave on to Asap. Hopefully he's away back then. Don't cleave on to your husband and wife. You make sure you chase the Most High with your own soul salvation. Because at the end of the day, you're accountable for yourself when you go into that courthouse in the heavens. Go ahead and read.
The book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 1, verse 8.
Read.
In flaming fire.
In flaming fire, read.
Taking vengeance.
Taking what?
Taking vengeance.
Vengeance, read.
On them that know not God.
Them that know not who?
Them that know not God.
So how do we know the Most High? It's by keeping His what? It's keeping His commandments. This is a scripture that you could hit a Christian with. When they say the laws of the Most High is done, the commandments is done. Because the Most High is going to bring judgment for those that don't know the Most High. And to know the Most High is keeping the commandments. So how can the laws of the Most High be done away with? How is it done away with if you're going to be judged? If you don't know the Most High? Read.
And that obey not the gospel.
That don't honor and respect the gospel. That Israel will be next. The nations will go into slavery.
That's right.
That's all part of the gospel.
Right.
And you're going to be judged according to that.
That's right.
So let's go to Leviticus 12. Leviticus 12.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 12 and verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying,
What did he say?
Speak unto the children of Israel,
Read.
saying, if a woman have conceived seed,
If a woman did what?
have conceived seed,
Read.
and born a man child.
So what is this referring to is when a woman has a child. Because, women don't have the seed of copulation. The man do. Exactly. She gives birth. This is a law dealing with when a woman is pregnant and she gives birth. The child is delivered. Read.
Then she shall be unclean.
She should be what?
Unclean.
She should be who?
Unclean.
She should be ceremonially unclean. Read.
7 days.
7 what?
7 days.
For 7 days. For about a week's time, she should be unclean. Read.
according to the days of the separation, for her infirmity shall she be unclean.
Read.
And in the 8th day,
In the what?
the 8th day,
Read.
the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised.
Now, why did it say that? Why did it say that? Let's read it again from the top. Let's read it again from the top. Now, even when you have a child, the Most High give you laws and how to regulate things after the child is born. So the Most High never give you an opportunity to just freestyle what you want to do. That's nowhere in the Bible. We went to the tabernacle. That should show you. There's no freestyling. You just go do what you want to do. No, you follow the Most High's instructions.
So let me back on that, because what were the people who followed Molech? What did they do with their children? They threw them through the fire, right? You see if they came out the other side. So the Most High said, that's not what we're doing, right? You at the crib, you chilling, you taking care of the child. You're not throwing him through the fires, seeing if he's gonna be the next LeBron James. Right? Put him in the microwave or some crazy thing. Who knows what the heathens around us was doing with their children, right? To get some type of divine revelation of how their life will turn out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why just like the captain said, the Most High didn't leave anything up to how you speculate. When you have a child, you ceremony unclean, you get them circumcised, you continue in your separation. And that's all you do. Nothing else, nothing more. What you wanted?
Let's get back to the top one more time.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 12 and verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a woman have conceived seed and born a man child.
That means a young boy. The child is born, the child is a boy. Read.
You sure it's not a gender neutral?
There's no they, she, we. It's male or female. Right. That's it. Read.
Then she shall be unclean 7 days.
She'll be unclean for 7 days. Read.
According to the days of the separation for her infirmity, shall she be unclean.
She'll be unclean. Now, let me ask a question. Is it a sin to be unclean? Is it a sin?
Yes.
Say yes, yes. 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 Micaiah? Yes. So let's listen to the scripture. If it's a sin to be unclean. Let's get Luke 8 and 43. Luke 8 and 43.
Sometimes you can't help being unclean.
We about to get there. We about to get there. That's a great point. And we got to remember. Let's get Luke 8 and 43. I'm bringing out a point.
The book of Luke, chapter 8, verse 43. And a woman having an issue of blood 12 years, which had spent all her living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any.
So stop. So what is the issue that she's having? Throughout the year. For 12 years, she's been having her menstruation. So let's go to the law, what it says about when a woman is on her period. This is very important that we understand this. Let's go to Leviticus 15 and verse 19. Leviticus 15, 19. Leviticus chapitre 15, verset 19. Everybody say "con" when you're there.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 15 and verse 19. And if a woman have an issue,
this is what we're referencing now, right?
And her issue is and her issue in her flesh be blood.
Be what?
Be blood.
Be who?
Be blood.
This is what we're referencing. Blood, right?
She shall be put apart 7 days. And whosoever toucheth her,
whatsoever do what?
Toucheth her,
read,
shall be unclean until even.
So anybody who touches somebody who's on their period, they're what now? They're unclean. Anything they touch has become unclean. If you make contact with it, you are unclean. Remember that. Let's go back to Luke 8.
I have to stay home.
Yes, you gotta stay at the crib. She's happy. She's like, yes. Read.
The book of Luke, chapter 8 and verse 43. And a woman having an issue of blood 12 years.
So we know that if you touch somebody when you're unclean, you make them unclean. Read.
which had spent all her living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any.
Read.
Came behind him.
Came behind who?
Came behind him.
This is Yahushua. Read.
And touched the border of his garment.
Touched the border of his what?
Of his garment.
So, because she touched Yahushua, what did that make Yahushua? So, one thing we know about Yahushua that makes him better than us, superior than us, is that he never what? He never sinned. 1 John 3 and 5. He never sinned. See, he said, I knew it. You're right. You're right. But he never sinned. Everybody say, come with me there.
Yeah. The book of 1 John, chapter 3 and verse 5. And ye know that he was manifested to take away our sins.
Who's the he? It's a Mashiach Yahushua, right?
And in him is no sin.
In him was no sin. So when the woman touched him, he became clean. But we know for a fact Yahushua never was. So if you become unclean, or did you sin? Did you sin? We just went over it. So if you get unclean, is that a sin? No, you did not. Because if that was the case, that means Yahushua sinned. Because the woman was on a period and she touched him. That means now he's unclean. But we know he didn't sin. That lets us know to be unclean is not a sin. There's sometimes when you're unclean, you have to stay away. That's a time of separation. You don't come amongst the body. Right. But it's not a sin, though, because sometimes you can't help it. If for those of you who knows what the seed of copulation is, I believe others call it a wet dream, in modern day terms. If you have that, that's something you can help. Just like a woman in her menstruation, she can't help being unclean. That's not something you just stop. Right. So let's go right back. Leviticus 12. Leviticus chapter 12.
The book of Leviticus chapter 12 verse 3. And in the 8th day,
on the 8th day, read.
The flesh of his foreskin.
The flesh of his what?
Foreskin.
That means his privy member, read.
Shall be circumcised.
That means it shall be circumcised. Let's get Genesis 19. 19 of verse 3. For those of you who this is your first time hearing this, there's a reason why the child has to be circumcised on the 8th day. Circumcision when they take off the little flesh over your privy member. It's cut off. You look shocked. That doesn't mean your thing gets cut off. Right. It means the skin on your thing gets cut off. That's according to the law of the Most High. Right. And it served for a purpose, why it was done. Leviticus 19 and 3. Genesis 19 and 3.
The book of Genesis chapter 19 and verse 3. And he pressed upon them greatly. And they turned in unto him, and entered into his house, and he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot.
So like 17 and 3. So my apologies.
The book of Genesis, chapter 17 and verse 3.
Is everybody at Genesis 17 and 3? All right, go ahead.
And Abraham fell on his face.
Who?
And Abraham fell on his face.
Abraham was our forefather. Read.
And God talked with him.
Read.
Saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee.
My what?
My covenant is with
thee. Pay
thee.
attention to that word covenant. Read.
And thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations I have made thee. For I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee.
Read.
And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee.
So he said that he's going to establish the covenant not only with Abraham, but the children that come out of Abraham that he's going to choose. Read.
Between me and thee and thy seed after thee, in their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a power unto thee, and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and unto thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, for I will be their God. And the God said unto Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child.
What does the scripture say?
Every man child.
What do we see in Leviticus 12?
Every man child.
Every young boy that is born,
among you,
right,
shall be circumcised.
He shall be what?
Shall be circumcised.
This is where we get this from. This is why the Most High is telling Moses to tell the Israelites in Leviticus 12 to circumcise on the 8th day. Because the Most High established a covenant with Abraham that every male had to be circumcised on its appointed time. Read.
And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you.
Read.
And he that is 8 days old,
the 8th day, read,
shall be circumcised among you. Every man child in your generation.
Read.
He that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed.
So this is what we're seeing it from. From the beginning, the Most High established his covenant through circumcision. Every male 8 days old had to be circumcised. On the 8th day, I got to make sure I stress that for a purpose. On the 8th day, it had to be done. Now, let's get Joshua 5 real quick. Just to see the importance of circumcision. Because it's not just a little thing. Yeah, you know, it's just a little piece of flesh being cut off. But it's a great significance on why it had to be done. It represents something. Everything the Most High told us to do is for a purpose. It wasn't just to do it, just to do it. He may not share it with us, but it served for a purpose. Joshua 5:1.
The book of Joshua, chapter 5, verse 1.
Read.
And it came to pass, when all the kings of the Amorites, which were on the side of Jordan westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites, which were by the sea, heard that the Most High had dried up the waters of Jordan from before the children of Israel, until we were passed over, that their heart melted. Neither was there spirit in them anymore.
So this is happening way after. You know, I believe we probably just entered into the land of Canaan. Read.
Because of the children of Israel. At that time, the Most High said unto Joshua, make these sharp knives.
So like this is before we get into the land, the east, I believe the west side of the land of Israel. We're on the other side of Jordan. Read.
Make these sharp knives.
Make these what?
Make these sharp knives.
Sharp knives, read.
And circumcise again.
Do what?
Circumcise again.
So we see after Moses died, that Joshua had to do what?
Circumcise again.
Again, read.
The children of Israel.
Read.
The second time.
The what?
The second
time.
The
second time, read.
And Joshua made him sharp knives and circumcised the children of Israel at the hill of the foreskin.
Read.
And this is the cause why Joshua did circumcise.
Now we're about to find out why Joshua had to do it. Read.
All the people that came out of Egypt that were males, even all the men of war, died in the wilderness by the way, after they came out of Egypt. Now all the people that came out were circumcised, but all the people that were born in the wilderness. So
everybody who left Egypt, they were circumcised. But everybody that was born in the wilderness when we left Egypt, they weren't circumcised. This is how it was so important. The Most High didn't let us continue to conquer the land until this was done. And we know history repeat itself. So that should let you know, before we go back home into the land, what's most likely going to have to happen again. So it'd be best, you know, I learned this, you know, my first time hearing this. It's best to handle it here so you don't have a brother with sharp stones doing it over there.
No.
Because you don't want a brother to miss. So make sure you get it done before you got to do it over there. Because there's no medical stuff when we're in the wilderness. It's rocks and sharp rocks. So, you know, I'm just putting that discretion out there. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Now all the people that came out were circumcised, but all the people that were born in the wilderness by the way, as they came forth out of Egypt, them they had not circumcised.
So we see before Yahushua, when we got into the land, circumcision was very important. It had to be done. Now let's skip, I want to say 1,400 years later, during the time of Yahushua, to see if anything changed. Let's get Luke, chapter 2, verse 21 to 23. We're going to see if anything changed. Because right now we're in captivity under the Romans during the time of Yahushua. We're going to see if anything changed regarding circumcision. Luke chapter 2, verse 21 to 23.
The book of Luke chapter 2 and verse 21. And when 8 days were accomplished.
8 days was what?
Were accomplished.
Just like we see in Genesis. Just like we see in Leviticus. Read.
For the circumcising.
For the what?
For the circumcising.
Read.
Of the child.
Of the child. This is Yahushua. Read.
His name was called Yahushua.
Read.
Which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb.
Read.
And when the days of her purification, according to the law of Moses.
That shows that we were still keeping the law. Read.
Were accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem.
They brought him to Jerusalem. After he was certain. You read the whole thing, right?
No, go ahead. To present him to the Most High.
Read.
As it is written in the law of the Lord, every male that openeth the womb shall be called holy,
shall be separated. Read.
Unto the Most High.
Read.
And to offer a sacrifice according to which is said in the law of the Lord.
So we see during Joshua, circumcision. We know during Exodus with Moses almost got killed because he uncircumcised his son. Yahweh's time, circumcision. Let's get Acts 16. We're still in captivity. Acts 16. Let's see what Timothy. Everybody say, come to Acts chapter 16.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The book of Acts, chapter 16 and verse 3. Him would Paul have to go forth with him, and took and circumcised him.
I want you to start. Yeah, go ahead. Go start from verse 1. So who's he talking about?
Then came he to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there, named Timotheus.
Right? This is the person that you see Paul is addressing in 1 Timothy and in 2 Timothy. This is that same person. Read.
The son of a certain woman, which was a Jewish and believed, but his father was a Greek.
That means he was a Hellen. Read.
Which was well reported of by the brethren that were at Lystra and Iconium. Him would Paul have to go forth with him, and took and circumcised him.
And did what?
Circumcised him.
Read.
Because of the Jews which were in those quarters.
So even though he wasn't 8 days years old, Paul still seen the necessity that he still had to be circumcised. He still had to be circumcised because this is something that's very important.
Right.
But let's go back to Leviticus 12. Leviticus 12. Start from verse 2.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 12, verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a woman have conceived seed and born a man-child, then she shall be unclean 7 days.
Unclean for 7 days, a whole week, read.
According to the days of the separation or infirmity, she shall be unclean. And in the 8th day,
in the what?
And in the 8th day,
who?
And in the 8th day,
now, according to the law, it had to be done when? On the what? What about 9 days? What about a year later? What about 5 years later? What about 23, 24, 32, 40, 50? If you do it at 50, does it take away from the fact that it had to be done on the 8th day? No. The Most High required for it to be done on the 8th day.
Right.
That's what he said. So even if you get it done on the 9th day, it doesn't take away from the fact it was supposed to be done when? On the 8th day. That's when the Most High commanded us. You understand? The Most High, through the Spirit, had Paul circumcise Timothy. That's great, but the law required on the 8th day. Now, if you're not circumcised, did you sin? Why did you sin? When I ask why, it's to make you think. So when you read in the scriptures, why does it say that? Why is this? What's going on here? It's to stimulate your mind. Who sinned? Somebody sinned.
Yeah, I guess you might ask me for the exact verse and which I would say is you can be sacrificed, not sacrificed, but you can be circumcised, you know, on your foreskin, but not sacrificed at heart.
We're gonna get there to circumcision of the heart. We're gonna get there.
Better than sacrifice, you know, keeping the commandments.
We don't get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get all of that. We're gonna get those scriptures. Because you hot. Now, if you're not circumcised, who sinned? Somebody sinned.
Or
Who sinned?
It's not the person, but the parents.
Exactly. So parents. Because if you're 8 years old, can you go to the doctor yourself and tell your doctor to circumcise you? No, you cannot.
Yeah.
That sin is on your parents because that law was given for them to make sure you're circumcised on the 8th day. That sin is not on you, it's on them. So should you get circumcised? Good. But it does not take away from the fact that the law required it to be done on the what? On the 8th day. You get doing it at 23, 24, 25, doesn't change from the fact that the Most High said on the what? On the 8th day was supposed to be done. Let me get Leviticus, 1 Corinthians 7 and 19 real quick. 1 Corinthians 7, 19. Now, just because you're circumcised, that don't mean you're more righteous than that. You understand? That don't mean that's it. Because some of our people had that spirit back in the days in the scriptures. Just because they're circumcised, they think they're the top shotters, don dadas, they're the go chef on the block. No, you are not the go chef on the block. No, you are not the bad man. You still got to keep the commandments as well as much as anybody else do. Got to keep the commandments. Read.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 19.
Let's see what Paul said about this.
Circumcision is nothing.
Now, that doesn't mean it's invaluable, but he's making a statement. Read.
And uncircumcision is nothing.
It's nothing. Read.
But the keeping of the commandments.
But the keeping of the what?
But the keeping of the commandments
Read.
of God.
That's what's more important. Not just you being circumcised. You could be circumcised and still be a devil. There's Jakes on the block. I'm pretty sure they're shooting each other with bullets and they're circumcised on the 8th day probably. Now, does that mean they're better than you, those of you that's not circumcised here? No, they ain't keeping the commandments of the Most High. That's what's important. You're keeping the commandments. Not only just being circumcised, but your complete obedience to the Most High God. That's what's important. Give me Romans 2 and 17.
The book of Romans, chapter 2, and verse 17.
Read.
Behold, thou art called a Jew, and retest in the law.
So this is what Paul was rebuking the saints that's in Rome. He said, you call yourself a Jew, but you do what?
And retest in the law.
You keep resisting the law. You keep trying the law. You don't want to keep the law. Read.
And makest thy boast of God.
And you want to brag about the Most High. Read.
And knoweth his will.
You know it's his what?
Knoweth his will.
You know what you're supposed to do. You know what's required of you. Read.
And approvest the things that are more excellent. Being instructed out of the law.
Read.
And are confident that thou thyself art a guide of the blind.
You think you the man. You think you got all the answers, the precepts, right? You think you could boast about the Most High? Like he's speaking to you one-on-one. Even though you are. Read.
And a light of them which are in darkness. An instructor of the foolish. A teacher of babes.
Read.
Which has the form of knowledge and of the truth in the law. Thou therefore which teachest another, teachest thou not thyself?
Right, you trying to teach people. Are you making sure you're doing what you're teaching people to do? Yeah, you circumcised, but are you making sure you're doing what you're telling people to do? Read.
Thou that preachest a man should not steal.
Does
thou steal?
You telling people not to be a thief. Are you stealing?
Right.
You stealing from a BB from the gas station? Read.
Thou that sayest a man should not commit adultery. Does thou commit adultery?
Are you doing it? Read.
That thou abhorrest idols, dost thou commit sacrilege?
Are you sacrificing anything to idols? Read.
That thou makest thy boast of the law, through breaking the law dishonorest thou God.
Read.
For the name of God is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you.
Read.
As it is written, for circumcision verily profited.
It do what?
Profited.
If who?
Profited.
Read.
If thou keep the law.
If thou keep the what?
If thou keep the law.
So if you circumcise, it only profits if you keep the commandments. Because part of the covenant of the Most High gave to the Israelites is to do what? It's to do what? It's to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. All of it, not just one. You're going to boast about the Most High, that you do one thing, make sure you do all of it, and you're not being a hypocrite. Read.
But if thou be a breaker of the law,
if thou be a breaker of the law, read.
Thy circumcision is made uncircumcised.
Sounds like it don't mean nothing. Because the circumcision is supposed to be a sign of the covenant the Most High made with Abraham, that he will be with us and give us his covenant. You breaking the commandments of the Most High is like it defeats the purpose. It defeats the whole purpose, man. It's like you go shower and then you go jump right in the mud. What was the purpose of you going to go shower in the first place? What was the purpose? Let's get Deuteronomy 10 and 16. All right. All right. Sure. We're going to get Deuteronomy 10 and 16 as well. Ten and 16. Check.
'Shaniwala, Bon Bonyamin, Bon Yashua.
Shanwala, Bon Bonhagen, Bon Gashalom.
Yahweh Shemel Shabbat.
Yabashim Shabbat.
Ten and 16.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, and verse 16. Circumcise, therefore, the foreskin of your heart.
So the Most High tells us to circumcise the foreskin of your heart. Now, what does that mean? To circumcise the foreskin of your heart. What does that mean? Ask them to get the commandments. You hot. You hot. Huh? You warm.
Together, I would say, turn from your old ways and now come back to it.
That's right. You're able to receive the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. You're able to understand it and get it. You're not stiff-hearted towards the Most High. Right? Now, when it says circumcise the foreskin of your heart or your mind, if you do that, you'll be, when you put in the hospital, if you circumcise your brain, you'll be put in the hospital, you probably see the Most High. Right. So not literal. It's all about receiving the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. Read that again for me. Deuteronomy 10 and 16.
Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 16. Circumcise, therefore, the foreskin of your heart.
Circumcise, therefore, the foreskin of your hearts. Ezekiel 36:26. Let's see what it means to circumcise your heart.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 36,
26.
26. A new heart also will I give you.
Read.
And a new spirit will I put within you.
Read.
And I will take away the stony heart.
Take away the what?
The stony heart.
Take away that stony heart. A stony heart means you're stiff-headed. All right? You don't want to receive the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. You don't want to receive the instruction of your Yahweh. Read.
Out of your flesh.
Out of your flesh. Read.
And will give you an heart of flesh.
And he'll give you a heart of flesh, a heart that can receive the Most High, that's willing to serve. Read.
And I will put my spirit within you.
Read.
And cause you to walk in my
He's
statutes.
going to cause us to do what?
Walk in my statutes.
When your mind is circumcised, it's going to cause you to walk in the will of the Most High God. Joyous, not grievous. And let's get 2 Ezra 3, in verse 20. It's one of those back pocket scriptures. 2 Ezra 3 and verse 20 in the Apocrypha.
Second Ezra, chapter 3.
Like Officer Zarkon was saying, this is the purpose of the circumcision of heart, circumcising your heart with the Most High God. Read.
In verse 20.
Read.
And yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart.
A wicked who?
A wicked heart.
A wicked what?
A wicked heart.
Wicked heart, read.
That thy law.
That thy what?
That thy law.
This is the purpose of circumcising your heart. It's to do what?
That thy law.
And the laws and commandments could do what?
Might bring forth fruit.
That it may bring what?
Fruit in them.
Now, what is it? Is it talking about bananas and apples? What is it talking about? What is it talking about? You circumcise your heart so it can bring what?
Fruit in them.
It could bring works. You're able to receive the law, statute, commandments of the Most High, walk according to his what, and bring forth the works. That's the purpose of circumcising your heart. If you get your mind right, then the works are going to follow. Why do you think Yahweh was giving you laws? Don't look at your neighbor's woman, because they'll cause you to commit adultery. If you circumcise your mind, you're not going to be thinking about another man's woman. And then you won't commit adultery with her. If you circumcise your mind, you're not going to bear a grudge or hatred towards your brother. And you won't murder him or steal from him. It's very important that we understand that we have to circumcise our heart serving the Most High God. Let's go back to Leviticus 12. Leviticus 12. 3.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 12, verse 3. And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days.
So she's going to be unclean for how long? 33 days. That means you leave her alone. You give her rest. No do benevolence. No time for love. No T-Bias. No Alan Cave. None of that during that time. You let her relax. Read.
She shall touch no hollow thing nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled.
Read.
But if she bear a man-child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks.
To be unclean what?
2 weeks.
Read that again. Maybe I missed something. I feel like I missed something. Read that again.
But if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks.
She'll be unclean for 2 weeks. Read.
As in her separation.
Read.
And she shall continue in the blood of her purifying.
She'll continue unclean for how long?
66 days.
How long is 66 days? For 66 days, twice as long. That means if you have a young daughter, there's a lot of Levites here, a young baby girl Levite, no princess, and for those of you who are Benjamites, another princess, you gotta leave your wife alone for how long? No sizzler, no bougie banta, none of that stuff. Leave her alone. Relax. Right? You cook this time. You go watch the children. You give her some time to relax and enjoy time with the child. Read.
Verse 6. And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled for a son or for a daughter,
for either or, read,
she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering.
For what?
For a burnt offering. And a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering.
For who?
For a sin offering.
Now, did she sin? No, it's not a sin to have children. What is one of the first commandments the Most High gave man? To be what? To be fruitful and multiply. Now, when it says a sin offering is regarding for purification reasons, she didn't sin. It's not a sin to be unclean, or else Yahweh shall be, he sinned once before.
Read. Unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation unto the priest. Verse 7. Who shall offer it before the Most High and make an atonement for her. and she shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood. This is the law for her that have borne a male or a female.
Mhm.
And if she be not able to bring a lamb, then she shall bring 2 turtles or 2 young pigeons.
Now, when it says 2 turtles, it's not talking about the turtles in the lake. It's talking about a species of pigeon. Now, she can't bring a lamb. The Most High gave her an alternate because you may not have the money to bring this. Read.
The one for the burnt offering, and the other for a sin offering.
Mhm.
And the priest shall make an atonement for her, and she shall be clean.
And then she will be clean. That the whole thing will be done. Let's continue.
Chapter 13. And the Most High spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab,
A what?
a rising, a scab,
Read.
or bright spot,
Or bright spot. Read.
and it be in the skin of his flesh
Read.
like the plague of leprosy,
Like the plague of leprosy. Read.
then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest.
Now, these are laws that has to do with dealing with plagues, just like leprosy. Now, if everybody's in the LOZ Miami chat, right? I posted up pictures of different type of cases of leprosy or skin lesion guide. These are all the plagues that's written in Leviticus 13 and how to deal with them. So if you want to get an idea, a visual aid of what it looked like, it's right here in the WhatsApp group chat. All right? Huh? Ricardo, you're in the chat, right? Are you in the WhatsApp chat? Are you in the WhatsApp chat? The WhatsApp.
Yes.
All right. So I put the image in there, so you can take a look at it too if anybody want to see it. Okay. So I believe I made you an admin too. She's not in the Miami chat, then you can add her. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And the priest shall look on the plague,
All right.
in the skin of the flesh.
So anytime you have a plague like this, you will present yourself before the priest. So not only was the priest a judge, you know, he sanctified the holy things of the Most High God. He ministered for the Most High. He was also a physician. He dealt with things like this. Read.
And when the hair and the plague is turned white,
When it's turned white, read.
and the plague in sight be deeper than the skin of this flesh,
Then when the plague look like it's deeper, then it's something that's just simply going on with the flesh. Read.
it is a plague of leprosy.
It's a plague of what?
Leprosy.
It's a plague of who?
Leprosy.
That lets you know. That lets the priest know it's not just something on top of your skin, but it's something that's in your bloodstream. Right? Because the way whatever's in your bloodstream, or minerals or vitamins in your bloodstream, is going to show outside of your body. If you're lacking certain vitamins, your hair could break apart and shed like a dog, or it'll turn white. It'll be evident to the priest something is going on inside of you. It's not just something outside of you. Read.
And the priest shall look on him
Uh-huh.
and pronounce him unclean.
You pronounce him unclean. Read.
If the bright spot be white
If it be white, read.
in the skin of his flesh, and in sight be not deeper than the skin, and the hair thereof be not turned white,
And the hair is not turned white, that lets him know it's not has nothing to do with something that's going on in your bloodstream, read.
then the priest shall shut up him that have the plague 7 days.
You will be quarantined for 7 days, so it doesn't spread. This shows us that we understood cleanliness. The white man, he does not understand cleanliness. Else, why would he eat raccoons and alligators and cough in people's faces and etc.? Why would he do that? Why would he tell you just wear a mask and you got a deadly disease and you could still go to work? No, in ancient Israel, you had to be put away for 7 days, away from everybody else. So this disease don't spread. Read.
Verse 5. And the priest shall look on him the 7th day,
Uh-huh.
and behold, if the plague in his sight be at a stay,
Uh-huh.
and the plague spread not in the skin,
If the plague doesn't spread any further, read.
then the priest shall shut him up 7 days more.
So he's gonna go another 7 days. This makes up 14 days now. You gotta stay away. Because something's going on with this guy. Read.
And the priest shall look on him again the 7th day,
On the 7th day, read.
and behold, if the plague be somewhat dark, and the plague spread not in the skin,
Now, if this now is darkening it up, it didn't spread, it's not reacting to anything, read.
the priest shall pronounce him clean.
Yeah, he's clean, he's good. It's not that serious. It's not gonna cause nobody's hair to fall off or eyes to roll out of their head. They're good, read.
It is but a scab,
It's but a what?
but a scab,
It's a scab. It's like if you get a cut on your arm And you got the white showing. It's just a little scab. Nothing too harmless. Read.
And he shall wash his clothes.
And he got to do what?
Wash his clothes.
Wash his who?
Wash his
He would
clothes.
have to wash his clothes to make sure it didn't spread through your garment or spread through your bandage or your headband or your armbands or your dress or your head wrap or your fringes. Read.
And be clean.
And then he'll be pronounced clean. Read.
Verse 7. But if the scab spread much abroad in the skin, after that he have been seen of the priest for his cleansing.
Now, if after that 7 days is done, it's still spreading, it's going on, it's going wild on his brother. Read.
He shall be seen of the priest again.
He got to be checked out because this is getting worse. Read.
And if the priest see that, behold, the scab spreadeth in the skin.
Now it's spreading in the skin. Read. Then
the priest shall pronounce him unclean.
Read.
It is a leprosy.
It is a what?
A leprosy.
It is a leprosy. That means he got leprosy. There's something going on with his brother. Read.
When the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought unto the priest. And the priest shall see him, and behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned the hair white.
And it turned the hair what?
White.
That lets him know it's in his what? It's something that's what? In his bloodstream. Read.
And there be quick raw flesh in the rising.
That means the flesh acting up. You see the flesh opening up, it's blisters, it's sores. Read.
It is an old leprosy.
It's an old leprosy, read.
In the skin of his flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean.
And he'll be unclean. Read.
And shall not shut him up, for he is unclean.
Read.
And if a leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that have the plague.
Let everybody know what verse 1 is. Make sure everybody
knows. Oh, verse 12.
Verse 12, read.
And if a leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that have the plague from his head even to his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh. 13. Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean.
Read.
That have the plague. It is all turned white, he is clean.
Read.
But when raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean. And the priest shall see the raw flesh, and pronounce him to be unclean. For the raw flesh is unclean, it is a leprosy.
That means it's exposed. That means all type of pathogens is going to come out of your vessel. It's the same. Where do you think Esau gets this from? When you do all these quarantines and you got something, a disease, and your flesh all exposed, all of that's getting in the air and it's going to contract to different people. This is why the Most High is shutting up these individuals so it doesn't spread. We could control it. Read.
Verse 16. Or if the raw flesh turn again and be changed unto white, he shall come unto the priest. And the priest shall see him, and behold, if the plague be turned into white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean that have the plague, he is clean.
Then it's like a little scrape. Anybody who ever got a little scrape and it's a cut and it's actually just white, plain white, this is what it's referring to. Read.
The flesh also, in which even the skin thereof was a boil and is healed. And in the place of the boil there be a white rising, or a bright spot, white, and somewhat reddish.
That means if it's like a bump and on top of it is white and it's got a little red on top of it. Read.
And it be shewed to the priest, and if, when the priest seeth it, behold, it be in sight lower than the skin, and the hair thereof be turned white.
That means it's in his bloodstream. It's not just like a little acne. Read.
The priest shall pronounce him unclean.
Pronounce him what?
Unclean.
Read.
It is a plague of leprosy, broken out of the boil.
Read.
But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hairs therein, and if it be not lower than the skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days.
They gonna shut him up and put him away, quarantine him for 7 days. Read.
And if it spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague. But if the bright spot stay in his place and spread not, it is a burning boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean.
Read.
Or if there be any flesh, in the skin whereof there is hot burning, and the quick flesh that burneth have a white bright spot, somewhat reddish or white, then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, If the hair in the bright spot be turned white, and it be in sight deeper than the skin, it is a leprosy broken out of the burning. Wherefore the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hair in the bright spot, and it be no lower than the other skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days. And the priest shall look upon him the 7th day, and if it be spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. And if the bright spot stay in his place, and spread not in the skin, but it be somewhat dark, it is a rising of the burning, and the priest shall pronounce him clean, for it is an inflammation of the burning. If a man or woman have a plague upon the head of the or the beard,
Now this is dealing with if you got something going on with your facial hair or your the hair on your head. Read.
the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin,
If it look like it's coming from inside your skin, read.
and there be in it a yellow thin hair,
A yellow thin what?
yellow thin hair,
A yellow thin hair, read.
then the priest shall pronounce him unclean.
Pronounce him who?
Unclean.
Pronounce him unclean. Now, just because somebody's born with yellow hair, does that mean they're unclean? No, you're not unclean if you're born with yellow hair. Just like I said, when somebody's born with blue eyes or light skin, that doesn't mean they're unclean. Sometimes Israel's overzealous. It does not mean you're unclean. If you have this condition and it's counted as leprosy and it causes you to have yellow hair, then you are unclean. Because I could be a Levite. I know brothers haven't seen Levites that's born with blonde hair. Just like if there's Judites who are born with blonde hair or there's Simeonites with blonde hair. That does not mean that brother or sister is unclean. So I just want to make sure I stress that. Go ahead.
It is a dry skull, even a leprosy upon the head or beard.
Read.
31. And if the priest look on the plague of the skull, and behold, it be not in sight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut up him that have the plague of the skull 7 days. And the 7th day the priest shall look on the plague, and behold, if the skull spread not, and there be in it no yellow hair, and the skull be not in sight deeper than the skin, he shall be shaven, but the skull shall he not shave. And the priest shall shut up him that have the skull 7 days more.
So the priest will shave his hair off. That doesn't mean bald his head. That means trim it so it can be that issue could be examined more. Read.
34. And in the 7th day the priest shall look on the skull, and behold, if the skull be not spread in the skin, nor be in sight deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the skull spread much in the skin after his cleansing, then the priest shall look on him, and behold, if the skull be spread in the skin, the priest shall not seek for yellow hair, he is unclean.
Right.
But if the skull be in his sight at a stay, and that there is black hair growing upon therein, the skull is healed.
The skull is what?
Healed.
Because it's not longer in his bloodstream. Because it would affect his hair as well in that area. Read.
He is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. If a man also or a woman have in the skin of their flesh bright spots, even white bright spots, then the priest shall look, and behold, if the bright spot in the skin of their flesh be darkish white, it is a freckled spot that groweth in the skin, he is clean. And the man whose hair is falling off his head, he is bald.
He is what?
He is bald.
Now, for brothers losing his hair, in Creole it's tetshov, I believe it's tetshov, right? That doesn't mean he's unclean. Read.
Yes, he is clean.
He is clean. So a lot of you brothers, eventually, you're going to be tetshov. You're going to join the club. I see I'm about to join the club soon. We are not unclean. But read.
Verse 40, 41, Salam. And he that hath his hair fallen off from the part of his head towards his face, he is forehead bald.
That means if your hair is losing up right here, that means you're not unclean. That just means your forehead bald, according to the scriptures. Read.
Yet is he clean.
He's clean.
And if there be in the bald head or bald forehead a white reddish sore,
A white what?
reddish sore,
Read.
it is a leprosy sprung up in his bald head or his bald forehead.
So that lets us let you know now you have leprosy. You have this going on with you. When you have a bald head or a forehead bald, right?
Verse 43. Then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the rising of the sore be white reddish in his bald head or in his bald forehead, as the leprosy appeareth in the skin of the flesh, he is a leprous man. He is unclean.
Mm-hmm.
The priest shall pronounce him utterly unclean.
It's utterly unclean. This thing is work. It's bad. Right?
His plague is in his head. And the leper in whom the plague is, his clothes shall be rent.
That means so it don't spread. His clothes got to be destroyed. Right?
And his head bare.
His hair got to be shaved. Right?
And he shall put a covering upon his upper lip.
His upper what?
Upper lip.
His upper who?
Upper lip.
His upper lip. Right?
And shall cry.
Why?
Unclean.
What is he gonna say?
Unclean, unclean.
Now he's gonna have to say unclean, unclean to let people know he got a very contagious issue going on with him. To cover the mouth is like a mask, so it don't spread to his when he's exhaling. Read
46. All the days wherein the plague shall be in him, he shall be defiled.
That means if it takes 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, as long as he has it, he got to cover his mouth, unclean, unclean. And I'll be embarrassing.
Right. He is unclean. He shall dwell alone. Without the camp shall his habitation be.
Mm-hmm.
The garment also that the plague of leprosy is in, whether it be a woolen garment or a linen garment, whether it be in the warp or woof, of linen or of woolen, whether in a skin or in anything made of skin.
Mm-hmm.
And if the plague be greenish or reddish in the garment,
greenish or reddish is like mold, right? If it's on any type of skins or anything made from hairs, right?
Or in the skin,
Mm-hmm.
either in the warp or in the woof, or in anything of skin, it is a plague of leprosy and shall be shewed unto the priest.
Mm-hmm.
50. And the priest shall look upon the plague and shut up it that have the plague 7 days.
So everybody got to evacuate and cut that spot off. Just like COVID break out somewhere, everybody got to leave the workplace. They got to spray it and disinfect it and examine and see if it's okay for everybody to come back. Read.
51. And he shall look on the plague on the 7th day. If the plague be spread in a garment, either in the warp or in the woof, or in a skin, or in any work that is made of skin, the plague is a fretting leprosy.
Mm-hmm.
It is unclean.
It is unclean. That means it's on spread.
Right.
Read.
52. He shall therefore burn that garment.
You should burn it.
Burn that garment.
Read.
Whether warp or woof, in woolen or in linen, or anything of skin wherein the plague is.
Mm-hmm.
Where it is a fretting leprosy, it shall be burnt in the fire.
It got to be completely destroyed and got to get rid of. Read.
53. And if the priest shall look, and behold, the plague be not spread in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof, or in anything of skin, then the priest shall command that they wash the thing wherein the plague is, and he shall shut it up 7 days more.
Now, if it's not as bad as the first case, he could just wash it and give it its time to see if it's going to spread or if the person as worse as they think it is. Right?
55. And the priest shall look on the plague. After that it is washed. And behold, if the plague have not changed its color, and the plague be not spread, it is unclean.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt burn it in the fire. It is a fret inward, whether it be bare within or without.
That means it's something that's going on in the inside of the coat, or whatever article clothing it is, and not something that's going to spread outside within it. Right?
And if the priest look, and behold, the plague be somewhat dark after the washing of it, then he shall rend it out of the garment, or out of the skin, or out of the warp, or out of the woof.
That means you can just cut it out the garment, right?
57. And if it appears still in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof, or in anything of skin, it is a spreading plague. Thou shalt burn that wherein the plague is with fire.
Mm-hmm.
58. And the garment, either warp or woof, or whatsoever thing of skin it be, which thou shalt wash, if the plague be departed from them, then it shall be washed the second time, and shall be clean. This is the law of the plague of leprosy in a garment of woolen or linen, either in the warp or woof, or anything of skins, to pronounce it clean or to pronounce it unclean.
Unclean. So this is the laws, a little bit of the laws of clean and unclean. You know, when you look at these laws that the Most High gave us, it's for a purpose. You read Deuteronomy 23 and 14. Look at the two scriptures we're going to close out the portion. It's because the Spirit of the Most High dwells amongst us, man. And has He dwell amongst us, He can't dwell amongst us and there's just unclean things all over the place going on. You have this brother got bumps on him all up on his head. This sister, her nose falling off. This brother got white bumps all over his face. This brother's hand look like he's about to bite the other hand. The Most High Spirit can't walk in the midst of us that way. These things are what helps us have a longer life. Because medically, this helps you stay healthy. If you have a brother who got a leprosy and he's amongst everybody else, everybody else is going to get sick. People are going to die. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 23 and verse 14. 3. For the Most High thy power walketh in the midst of the camp.
And because His Spirit walketh in the midst of us. Read.
To deliver thee, and to give up thine enemies before thee.
Read.
Therefore shall thy camp be holy.
Our camp got to be separate. Because during the time of the wilderness, we had somewhere everybody, if you was unclean, we had a designated spot outside of the camp for you to be. Right? If you was unclean because of your menstrual cycle, or when you just had a child, you had a spot for you to go until you're clean. Read.
That he see no unclean thing in thee.
That he doesn't see anything unclean. Let's give the Most High a lot of applause for a powerful portion. It was short, but a lot of information. All praise to the Most High God. So just remember, everybody, Passover, I believe, is not this coming week, but the upcoming week. At April 14th, at evening, is the Passover. Brothers, if you're in the camp, I'm letting you know right now, you will be suspended if you don't show up for the Passover, because this is the law of the Most High God. I cannot, get mad at you if you cannot show up for a camp, but I'll be jealous for the Most High sake if you be negligent and you don't show up for the Passover, because that's your life you're putting at the line. Because the Passover, give me Deuteronomy 16:16. You know what I want, right? You know what I want. Let's get Deuteronomy 16:16. Let's see why we're making this such an urgent thing.
Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 16.
Read.
3 times in a year.
3 times in a year, read.
Shall all thy males.
So all thy what?
All thy males.
All thy who?
All thy males.
All of the males, read.
Appear before the Most High thy power in the place which he shall choose.
In the place he should what?
Shall choose.
In the place that he should choose. Let's see.
In the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before the Most High empty.
So what are the 3 mandatory times you're supposed to come before the Most High for Passover? What are the 3 times? Feast of Unleavened Bread, which begins at night, same night of Passover. The Feast of what?
Feast of Weeks.
The Feast of Pentecost, and what else?
And the Feast of Tabernacles.
And the Feast of Tabernacles. Those are 3 times in the year. Is mandatory. All men appear before the Most High God. Why didn't you say the men and women? Because sometimes women could get what? They could get their period. They could get unclean. So they may not be able to show up for the Passover. Now, the Most High being so merciful, He did give us a makeup Passover in the law. Right. But there's requirements to be able to deserve that makeup Passover. Let's get Numbers 9 and 9 and I want you to start from verse 9. The Passover is very important. Very, very important that you have to be there. Numbers 9 and 9.
The book of Numbers, chapter 9, verse 9. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying,
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying what?
If any man of you or of your posterity shall be unclean by reason of a dead body, or be in a journey afar off.
Now read that requirements again for me.
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If any man of you or of your posterity shall
If
be
any
unclean,
man of you or your posterity, meaning your children, read.
shall be unclean
Stop. Read.
by reason of a dead body,
By reason of a dead body. If you're unclean by reason of dead what?
dead body,
Now, if you touch a dead body, how long are you unclean? For how long? 7 days. He didn't say because you had a dream last night. He didn't say because you touched something unclean. He said only if you touch a dead body, read.
or be in a journey afar off,
If you're all the way in Atlanta, Antarctica, if you're all the way in Alaska, if you're all the way in Mars, if you're all the way in the moon, if you're in the lost city of Atlantis, and you could not have made it, no possible way for you not to make it, read.
yet he shall keep the Passover unto the Most High.
You could keep the Passover when?
The 14th day
The 14th day of what?
of the second month.
Of the second month. The 14th day of next month, after 14 days after the next new moon, you could keep that Passover. But what is the requirements to be able to do it? One of them is what? For you to be able to keep that makeup Passover, there's 2 requirements. What is it? You're warm a little bit. You're warm a little bit. Let's read it again. I want everybody to be clear. Because when you text me and I don't text back and I tell you repent, you know why? Because, I take the Most High's law serious. You got to take it seriously. Go ahead. Cut.
Verse 10, the book of Numbers chapter 9, verse 10. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if any man of you or of your posterity shall be unclean by reason of a dead body,
Of a dead body. 1, read.
or be in a journey afar off,
Or you're in a journey afar off. That meaning if the Passover is here and you right here down the street and you choose not to come. That's not what it's talking about.
right?
These are the 2 things that could cause you to still have to keep that Passover the second time. You being with your girlfriend on the Passover, huh? If you with your girlfriend on the Passover, that's not an excuse. You want to have food time, that's not an excuse. You choose to go to work, that's not an excuse. You choose to go to IET when you knew the Passover was on April 14th, that's not an excuse. There's no excuses with the Most High. Keep the Passover. Keep the laws of the Most High God. Is there any questions regarding this? All praises. Passover will be April 14. I will post the information again for the Passover right after the service in the chat, so everybody will have it. It's $100 a family, $50 if you're single. Now, just because you're courting somebody, you're just talking to a sister, that don't mean it's $100 for both. That means 50 for you, 50 for you. Just send that in. All right? Now, is there any questions, any concerns, anything for me? No?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, the colors,
It's like a navy blue, gold, and white. Now, if you don't have the colors, you're all right. The most important thing is Passover. That's most important. So if you don't have it, it's all good. Now, I make sure I put a warning to everybody in the headquarters already. Now, I'm going to say this again. I'm probably going to do a video. I will be in charge of security during Passover. Everybody in Miami, all the Miami brothers and Georgia brothers will be doing security. If you come to the Passover with an extra tight shirt, you will go home. If you come with skinny jeans and you could barely walk, you're going home. If you come like you're going to the club, you're going home. You come with booty shorts, you're going home. You don't have your fringes, you're going home. This is the Most High's day, not the time for you to go to the club. All right? So I just want to make sure I let everybody know that, because I love everybody. I love you. I know you love me, but I love the Most High more, and you're going to have to go home.
Yeah.
All right?
So, wake up, someone can bring your backup.
That's right. You bring up backup clothes. If you know that if you're not sure, bring up backup clothes and you go change in your car, and we'll let you right in. Because in that day, the blind will see. I already know somebody's going to dress provocative. So in that day, the blind will see. I already know. That day, the blind will see, and the deaf will hear that day. So let's give the Most High a round of applause. Hallelujah. Captain Sark, come on the camera so we could do the prayer. I madam upon your hakodam. Rise of his ease.
Hallelujah.
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 Who's the power?
Yahweh.
Who's the power?
Yahweh.
Bahashim?
Yahweh.
Bahashim?
Yahweh.
What are we going to do?
Take the kingdom.
What are we going to do?
Take the kingdom.
How?
Yahweh.
How?
Yahweh.
When?
I thought.
When?
I thought.
All praises, all glory, all authority go to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For surely his mercy endureth forever. Abiyah, we come before you to thank you for giving us a Shabbat. Thank you for giving us the Torah. Thank you for showing us your loving kindness and mercy, Yahweh. As we see the heathens fall, as we see that Russia's going to destroy Ukraine, and hopefully they send a nice missile, gift wrapped with Caesar Borgia on it, and blow up America. We pray that you deliver us all and bring us back into the land of Israel, Yahweh. That you continue having mercy on us, and you continue showering us with your love and mercy and compassion. For surely it endureth forever, Yahweh. We ask that you deliver us. I thought, Yahweh. As you delivered us on the night of the Passover, we pray that it could be this Passover when you deliver us, Yahweh. We ask that you receive Psalm 67 as we read and repeat during the ninth hour prayer. Psalm 67. Yahweh be merciful unto us.
Yahweh be merciful unto us.
And bless us.
And bless us.
And cause his face to shine upon us.
And cause his face to shine upon us.
Salah.
Salah.
That thy way may be known upon earth.
That thy way may be known upon earth.
Thy saving health among all nations.
Thy saving health among all nations.
Let the people praise thee.
Let the people praise thee.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
Let all the people praise thee.
Let all the people praise thee.
Or let the nations be glad.
Or let the nations be glad.
And sing for joy.
And sing for joy.
For thou shalt judge the people righteously.
For thou shalt judge the people righteously.
And govern the nations upon earth.
And govern the nations upon earth.
Salah.
Salah.
Let the people praise thee.
Let the people praise thee.
O Most High.
O Most High.
Let all the people praise thee.
Let all the people praise thee.
Then shall the earth yield her increase.
Then shall the earth yield her increase.
And Yahweh,
And Yahweh,
even our own power,
even our own power,
shall bless us.
shall bless us.
The Most High shall bless us.
The Most High shall bless us.
And all the ends of the earth
And all the ends of the earth
shall fear him.
shall fear him.
Bahashem,
Hashem,
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach,
Yahushai,
Yahushua,
the water,
the water,
Yah,
Yah,
Man,
Man,
get the Most High hand.
Device.
yes.
Get the Most High some praise. Real. Yahweh's not good to me. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah. He gives me the victory. Many people doubt it, but I can't live without it. That is why I love him so. Yahweh shines real to me. Real. Yahweh shines real to me. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah. He gives me the victory. Many people doubt him, but I can't live without him. That is why I love him so. Yahweh shines real to me. There's no power. There's no power like Yahweh, great King of the universe, always doing wondrous things. Let all his blessings sing. Amen. 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 Hallelujah. 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 Amen. 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 Hallelujah. 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 Count down. 1,
Abraham,
2,
Isaac,
3,
Jacob,
4,
brothers wake up,
5,
reality,
6.
nationality,
Hit it. Israel. Late at night When I'm sleeping and my spirit's also creeping in my bones. In my bones. In my bones. In my bones. Let's get to heaven. When I get to heaven. When I get to heaven. People gonna sing. People gonna sing. How'd you earn your living? How'd you earn your living? And how'd you earn your pay? How'd you earn your pay? And I reply with a little bit of anger. And I reply with a little bit of anger. I earn my living as an Israelite ranger. I earn my living as an Israelite ranger. I carry my Bible by my side. I carry my Bible by my side. Gonna carry my Bible to the day I die. Gonna carry my Bible to the day I die. Hallelujah. 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 Praise his name. Hallelujah. Praise his name. Hallelujah. 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 All praises. Whoa, whoa, standing tall, looking good. Standing tall, looking good. Preaching to our neighborhood. Preaching to our neighborhood. Standing tall, looking good. Standing tall, looking good. Preaching to our neighborhood. Preaching to our neighborhood. Saying, whoa, 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 Hallelujah. 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 Praise his name. Hallelujah. Praise his name. Hallelujah. 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 All praises to the Most High. Hallelujah.
Today.
How you say? Hey yo, where the heck do myself in? You guys funny, bro. Oh my God, I just can't stop.
Ah, yeah.
Everything, but I had got your car with no service. Oh yeah, yeah, correct. You probably could have up there by. You probably be up there by 5:30. You probably gonna be up there by 5:30. I think they was, but I'm not drinking right now. But I'll definitely pop a bottle of water though. How y'all think? No. Chief, I know Chief gonna kill me when we go to the gym on Monday. So I'm not trying to mess up my performance. At Homestead. At Homestead. Oh, slot at Homestead. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We do it at the park on the Shabbat, and then we do it at the